It will be a chess match in Philly. Chip Kelly's high-flying offense against Gus Bradley's hard-nosed defense. Week 1, moments away, and today's game is being broadcast in Spanish, where available using the SAP button on your television.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
I got my mind made up and I can't let go. I've been running, I've been running.
It's been a long wait, but football is back, and it is a beautiful day in Philadelphia. 77 degrees. The wind at 10 miles per hour feels actually a little bit stronger than that, and we are set to go. The Eagles won the toss. They have deferred. Jordan Todman, who was second in the NFL in kick return average last year, is back deep for the Jags. And it's the rookie kicker for Philadelphia, Cody Parkey, who was acquired in a trade from the Colts on August 21st. This place is loud. This place is green. And we're ready to go. We're underway. And Parkey starts the season with a touchback. That'll bring out Chad Henne, the veteran now in his 7th year. Re-signed with Jacksonville in the offseason. Last year, 13 touchdown passes to 14 interceptions. And as Steve mentioned earlier, a huge loss today with Cecil Shorts not being able to go. Jacksonville only has 4 wide receivers. First and 10. Henne to his tight end Mercedes Lewis across the 25 and wrapped up at the 27-yard line. Well, for Jacksonville, they're banged up front. Jack McClendon will make his first career start at center. And I just mentioned it, Cecil Shorts out of the lineup. So Allen Hurns takes his place, an undrafted free agent out of Miami. 2 rookies starting at wide receiver week 1 for Jacksonville. Lee and Hurns, first time in franchise history that has happened. Lewis got 7 at 2nd and 3. First Jacksonville carry for Toby Gerhart, and he is stacked up. Trent Cole leading the charge for the Eagles as we take a look at the Philadelphia defense. Cedric Thornton led the Eagles defensive lineman last year with 78 tackles. At linebacker, it's a tough group led by D'Amico Ryans. And in the secondary, Malcolm Jenkins, the big free agent acquisition in the offseason from New Orleans.
And Andrew, this is a Philadelphia defense as we get a timeout call that has stopped their opponents, or not allowed their opponents to score a touchdown on the opening drive for 12 consecutive games. So a nice streak running here for Billy Davis, defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles and his unit.
3rd down and 1. That's not going to get it done. Gerhart is pushed back. And an impressive start for the Philadelphia defense.
Well, they went very heavy at the line of scrimmage. They took out all the wide receivers, all the tight ends, and put in all the offensive linemen they had on their roster. These are all big guys up front, and they just couldn't push the Philadelphia Eagles off the line. The Eagles, knowing all those heavy guys are in there, they don't have any threat of a pass, and they packed the line of scrimmage.
And Steve, as you mentioned in the open, that's going to be the key today. Can that Jacksonville offensive line hold up physically against this Philadelphia defense?
Darren Sproles back deep for the Eagles, and he'll take this at his own 11-yard line. And he's tackled at the 26. Well, here comes Nick Foles. What an incredible 2013 season for Foles, the 3rd-year player out of Arizona. 27 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He was the Pro Bowl MVP.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate on how good he can be and whether he can continue this. You spoke about Donovan McNabb, kind of taking a shot across his bow. I agree with you. You don't put up those kind of numbers, and there's a number nobody talks about. He had an over 130 quarterback rating last season when he was blitzed. I mean, this isn't a one-trick guy. This guy does it all. He had a phenomenal year.
Foles' pass is incomplete. He was looking for Jeremy Macklin on the play. Well, Philly's offensive line so impressive. Alan Barbary, though, gets to start at right tackle for the suspended Lane Johnson. And Jeremy Macklin back after missing all last season with the ACL injury, and a nice tackle by Derek Marks, tripping up LaShawn McCoy on second down.
And you see right away the up-tempo for Philadelphia. Jacksonville right now up to the task right there. Derek Marks with great penetration into the backfield, untouched. Made a nice tackle on LaShawn McCoy.
Immediately Selleck comes off, and they send in the wide receiver. They go 3 or 4 wides right now.
Third down and 11. Foles to Ertz, first down at midfield. Zach Ertz primed for a big season with the Eagles, and he picks up 26 yards.
You're going to see Zach Ertz a lot this year. He's one of the guys that's going to be counted on to step up in place of Deshaun Jackson, a big target down the middle of the field, great speed. Nick Foles very excited to implement him into the passing game last year and build on it this year.
McCoy on first down, and he gets across the 45-yard line. We'll take a look at the Jacksonville defense. Red Bryant, one of 2 guys to come over from Seattle in the offseason, along with Chris Clemens. Paul Puzzlesny was second in the NFL in tackles last year, and the secondary is led by Jonathan Cyprian in his second year, the strong safety. McCoy trying to get to the outside, and he's cut down at the 44-yard line. Will Blackman on the stop for the Jaguars.
Yeah, they did a nice job, Jacksonville did, of getting that out. As you can see, if you look at the whole field, they're running guys on and off. As Miller and Red Bryant run off, 2 defenders come on. They're changing out that defensive line as best they can to keep them fresh. This tempo is taking a toll even here early.
Third down and 5 for Philadelphia. Foles holds on to it, loses the football. Ball comes out, it's loose on the ground. And Jacksonville recovers. Ryan Davis scooped up the loose ball.
Foles gets caught in the pocket. Watch, it just comes out. They will review this automatically in case you're wondering if that's an incomplete pass. We'll find out.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands.
Jeff Triplett making the call. It's a fumble in Jacksonville's football.
Well, it's interesting you said the ruling stands. It wasn't confirmed. As watch as Foles pumps once, he's going to try and come through, and right there is where Clemens gets a hold of it, and of course the ball does come loose. No question about the recovery.
The question we had during the break, Steve, was whether or not it was an issue, that tuck rule issue, whether he was trying to regain control of that football or not.
And he on first down in trouble, and he goes down. Michael Kendricks bringing down Chad Henne.
Well, Jacksonville had, you see here, the 2 rookie wide receivers out along with 1 tight end, and that's it. Everybody else was in protecting Henne, and it still wasn't enough. They covered up the three receivers that were out of the pattern. Still had 8 to rush, and that was plenty. I mean, Henne's got to get rid of the football.
First sack of the season for Kendricks. He had 4 a year ago. Second and 11. Gerhardt has a little bit of room and still going up across the 35-yard line. It's going to be very close to a first down. Nate Allen on the stop for the Eagles defense.
Well, you know, we talked to Toby Gerhardt yesterday. He's so excited to have a chance to be the every down back. He got caught up in the Gus Bradley enthusiasm, the well-documented Gus Bradley enthusiasm of coming here to Jacksonville, but really the motivator was the chance to be that go-to every down running back. He was behind a guy by the name of Adrian Peterson in Minnesota, didn't get many opportunities.
I've heard of him. That was a pickup of 11 and a first down, but here on first down, Jenkins with the big tackle of Gerhardt, Malcolm Jenkins. High expectations for him this season after coming over from New Orleans.
He plays this really well right up here. He's going to step right into run support. 8 guys in the box, and he's the 8th guy, and they run right at him. There's nobody there to get him. They just outnumber Jacksonville at the point of attack, and it's a great open field tackle. There's no place for Gerhardt to go. Jenkins makes a sure tackle.
No gain on the play, second and 10, 9:10 to go in the first quarter. Any play action, looking deep for Hearns, and he's got it for a touchdown. A 34-yard hookup between Chad Henne and Allen Hearns, and the Jaguars take the early lead.
We specifically asked Chad Henne in our meeting yesterday, were they going to take any shots deep? His comment was that the Philadelphia Eagles secondary, their safeties right there, you saw Nate Allen, number 29, step up. He said they're aggressive, they're affected by play action. We're going to try and hit a couple shots over the top early. Right there, perfect example. Allen Hearns coming up with a big touchdown throw or catch from Chad Henne.
Chad Henne told us he doesn't know how Hearns went undrafted. Starting here week 1 for the Jaguars, extra point by Scobie is good, and Jacksonville capitalizes off the turnover. Clemens forced the fumble, Davis recovered, and then Jacksonville's offense strikes early in the first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Verizon, more live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by the Lincoln Motor Company and the first ever MKC.
Philadelphia had a plus 12 turnover margin last year. That was 4th in the league, but they fumble here in the first quarter, and the Jaguars, to their credit, take advantage. First career catch for Allen Hearns, also his first career touchdown.
That's one of those footballs that goes up on the shelf in the house.
Oh, you kidding me?
That's awesome.
What an unbelievable start to a career for that young man.
Did have the advantage of playing at Miami under offensive coordinator Jed Fish, who's now the offensive coordinator here in Jacksonville. Nolan Carroll takes this one out and gets up to the 18-yard line. We want to bring in our officiating expert back in New York, longtime referee Mike Carey. And Mike, we want to go back to that fumble a few plays ago here in Philly. What did you see?
Well, this is a new interpretation of the tuck rule. So now you focus on the quarterback's hand as the ball starts to come forward. He doesn't lose control of the ball until he starts bringing it back towards his body. That makes it a fumble and live. So a good call on the field and a good call in replay.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate your help, and we look forward to hearing from you throughout the season. We welcome you to the NFL on CBS. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Foles swings it to McCoy across the 20 and pushed out by Pusluzny at the 23-yard line.
What a great resource Mike Carey is going to be for us. You know, it just kind of clears up all the gray area for us because we're looking at it trying to figure out, is that the tuck rule? I mean, it happens so quick. He comes in and clearly describes it for us, and more importantly for the fans on the outside watching this game. So what an asset for CBS NFL football.
Thankfully, his name's not Steve either. He's way too many Steves as McCoy slips some tackles. First down, Philadelphia.
Well, this gives you an idea of why LaShawn McCoy is you know, he's the ultimate weapon. Watch how fast he'll stretches the hole, then he stops there and jumps. 2 guys miss him. He turns a zero play or a lost play into a first down just because of his ability to make guys miss in the backfield.
And you saw the rookie linebacker, Telvin Smith, the rookie out of Florida State, that was standing in the hole waiting for him. And Telvin Smith, by the way, is an incredible athlete. He missed him, couldn't even get a hand on him.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy is a special back, and you really have to close the space down because he makes guys miss in those small spaces. Watching him run on field level is just an experience.
That's one of those welcome to the NFL moments there. We've got a little delay here.
Well, the fans are unhappy because the Eagles want to go, and the officials have to place the ball and then get in position. And they're trying to reset the clock as well.
Well, we were talking to the Eagles players, and they told us in practice, they practice faster than it's legally to run the plays against a defense in a game. So Chip Kelly, this really feels like a snail's pace for the Eagles offense.
And the smart Philly fans know what they want to do as they go to Sproles here. He is thrown back. Loss on the play by Philadelphia. Roy Miller leading the charge, along with Alu. For all the outsiders, misfits, and true originals, CBS presents a new series that's pure genius. Inspired by a true story, Scorpion premieres Monday, September 22nd, only CBS. Well, here it is. McCoy and Sproles in the backfield together next to Nick Foles. Foles pump fakes, now running right, in trouble, holds on to it, and he's tripped up. A late flag comes in from behind.
It's from the umpire in the backfield. Obviously, he's signaling a hold right now to the official.
So the question, if you're Jacksonville, is do you take the penalty?
Holding. Number 79 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
So it'd be 2nd and 20 now, taking the penalty. It would have been a 3rd and 8 or 9 yards. Gus Bradley electing to move him back. You're going to see the hold right there.
There it is.
See it, the veteran Todd
Right
Harriman's in his 10th year now.
Yeah, he got a piece. Did not let go of Roy Miller on the inside.
It's 2nd and 20 for Chip Kelly and the Eagles. Foles has some time. Now in trouble from behind, loses the football again. Ball is out at the 20. Buzz Lusney is indicating the Jaguars have it, and they do. 2nd turnover of the quarter by the Eagles. Ziggy Hood recovers.
Well, we're singing Nick Foles' praises in the opening segment here, but right now, to me, he looks a little bit unsure, undecided. What separated him last year was his decision making, but look at how long he's holding that football right there. Then he stops. You know, this is the big boy league. This is the NFL. You cannot hold the football that long in the NFL. There was good protection on that play. He has got to do something with that football. If he keeps making mistakes like that, there is going to be a question here in Philadelphia.
Obviously, he's looking for bigger windows than Jacksonville secondary is giving their receivers, and he's not seeing what he wants to see to release that football.
But that's that classic situation. The alarm clock goes off.
Andre Branch forced a fumble. Henne's pass is incomplete on 1st down. Pressure was coming from Michael Kendricks. So 2 turnovers in the 1st quarter by the Eagles.
Both sack fumbles.
Yeah,
First one by Clemens and the second one by Branch.
And it's interesting, the Eagles, when they were having their success, they were running the plays fast. Then we saw the officials have a time issue. Then they've had a penalty, a holding penalty that held them up. They couldn't get into that fast-paced offensive tempo that they're used to, and I think it rattled them a little bit.
Yeah, Steve, you're right. They have not found their rhythm yet, and that's pretty obvious.
Inside 7 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Check that 1st quarter's. Hearns makes another catch, still going, and he's in for the touchdown. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns for the undrafted rookie Allen Hearns. Jacksonville goes up 13-0.
Well, we are going to have to confirm something here. I don't know if it's ever happened that a rookie's first 2 catches in the NFL go for touchdowns. What a great grab. Not a great throw by Chad Henne. Great body control by Allen Hearns. Gets that ball in the end zone. You now see exactly why everybody in Jacksonville is so excited about this rookie out of Florida.
Guys, the largest lead that Jacksonville had last year was 13 points. They led Tennessee 13-0. If Scobie makes this extra point, which he does, they are up 14 on the Eagles and some Boo Birds here at Lincoln Financial Field.
And I gave credit to Florida. I meant the University of Miami, of course, for Allen Hearns. What a great start for the Jaguars.
Largest lead last season, 13 points against Tennessee. Gus Bradley's Jaguars up 14-0 here. Shocking the Eagles so far in the 1st quarter. It's because of that man, Allen Hearns. 2 catches, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well, Gus Bradley looked pretty darn stoic right there on the sideline, but I can tell you 100% confidently that he's pretty pumped up right now. There's no doubt about that.
Eagles take a knee. Their offense coming right back out after this. That's how you do it at Tony Luke's. That cheesesteak looks good. Philadelphia's offense trying to get cooking here. They trail 14-0. They start this drive on the ground, and McCoy gets away from one, trying to reverse field. Foles thought about a block, then didn't. McCoy still going, and brought down at the 29-yard line. Buzz Lusney makes the stop.
Well, you're going to see Jacksonville over-pursue. They've got a key on this play, and you can see every guy is there. McCoy sees it, and he just breaks it back the other way. That's just over pursuit by the defense.
And McCoy with the first down.
Well, you said it right, Steve. That was a great job of pursuing by Jacksonville. They had stuff to play at the point of attack, but they lost or contained on the backside. And with a guy like LaShawn McCoy, you're gonna pay the price every time.
Well, a team like Jacksonville is so excited now with a 14-point lead on the road. They're starting to get keys and play pretty confidently.
Sproles out of the backfield, makes the catch. Cuts back at the 35 and gets to the 37-yard line. Another tackle for Paul Posluszny. Well, it's not too late to play NFL.com Fantasy. Enjoy free new mobile apps so you can join, draft, you can play from anywhere. Sign up at NFL.com/fantasy.
Hey, guess what? Of the Jaguars' 4 wins last year, how many of them were on the road? 3. 3 of their 4 wins on the road. And by the way, Philadelphia lost their first 4 home games last year.
You think anyone's picking up Alan Hearns in fantasy right now?
I got him.
Foles over the middle, overthrows Jordan Matthews.
You know, we're seeing a side of Nick Foles so far today that is just not looking like the confident, poised guy. He had a wide open Jordan Matthews right there. Sure, it's a touch throw. You got to get that ball up and over Brandon Graham, the linebacker, but in the NFL, that is a wide open wide receiver.
You're right, and you could see him pump once, and then he thought he might be too late. Tried to put on. He needed to put air under it and let him run underneath it. He had nobody behind him.
3rd down and 7 for Philadelphia. Foles, time again. Pressure from behind. Ball comes out, and they're saying it's an incomplete pass. And here come the boos again in Philly.
Again. Way too much time holding that football in the backfield. That offensive line is an experienced, proven offensive line. That's Clemens coming off the backside. It's the 2nd time he's gotten to Foles. He's got plenty of time to make these throws, guys. He can't hang on to the ball that long.
Well, the secondary at Jacksonville's doing a good job making him pull it back down. You can see him starting wanting to throw and then not feeling confident enough he can put it in.
Mike Brown fields the punt at the 10. And he gets up to the 16-yard line after the punt by Donnie Jones. Eagles down 14-0.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Nick Foles and the backup quarterback Mark Sanchez talking things over on the sideline. As Philadelphia is still scoreless with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville following the punt. And we have some movement on the line. Flag comes in.
Encroachment. Defense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
3rd-year player Cedric Thornton. You can hear a pin drop in here right now.
You can tell that Jacksonville very happy to just sit there, huddle up, take their time. And I'll tell you, the defense for the Eagles has got to be on their heels knowing that they've got to defend the entire field.
Gerhardt to the 25-yard line. We think back to week 1 last year. Philadelphia got off to that incredible start against the Washington Redskins. Meanwhile, for Jacksonville last year, they didn't score a touchdown until their 25th drive of the season. And they've scored twice in 3 drives so far here today.
And now they go no huddle. Jacksonville comes up with a 2nd and 2 without a huddle.
Gerhardt is spun down. Time for our first update of the year. Here's JB and Boomer.
Eastern time zone not hurting the Raiders early, Boom.
Not at all. Derek Carr is 5 for 5 thus far off of a Rodney Woodson interception. Derek Carr throws his first TD pass right there to Rod Streeter, 7-3, Raiders over the Jets.
Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
You know what, guys? I had said coming out, I like Derek Carr the most of all these rookie quarterbacks. I didn't expect him to be playing this early, but pretty proud of myself on that one. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
You just did. 3rd down and 5. Botch the snap. Flag is down. Jaguars fall on it.
Snap infraction. Number 66 for the offense. The 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's on the center, Jacques McClendon.
Yeah, Jacques McClendon now, by the way, it's right here in the middle where the ball is, obviously. He forgot where where Chad Henne was. And he's a very inexperienced center, never played a snap in the NFL, was only a backup in college and high school. So
well, that's the thing, too. It's more difficult. It seems strange, but it's more difficult to throw a shotgun snap than it is a regular snap because you just hand it to the quarterback. That time the ball caught on the ground and pulled right out of his hand as he was trying to snap it.
4 on the play clock, 3rd down and 10. And he just gets it off. Pressure from the backside. And that's an incomplete pass. Nate Allen brought the heat for the Eagles, and they forced Jacksonville to punt.
They're going to call that a fumble that
This
went
is
out
a
of bounds.
fumble.
Yeah.
Fumble backward, going forward out of bounds. It'll be brought back to the spot of the fumble.
Well, Billy Davis, defensive coordinator, getting very aggressive there, coming with pressure off the backside, more than the Jaguars could protect. That's Nate Allen that came by and made the nice trip, and definitely a fumble. The arm was not going forward.
Yeah, he had the empty hand going forward. Jeff Triplett was right on it the entire way.
So Brian Anger is on for his 2nd punt of the quarter. Jacksonville punted 95 times last year, the most in the NFL. Foles is back deep. High spiraling kick, fair catch called for Sproles at the 43-yard line. Nate Allen trying to make a spark here in Philly. Applies the pressure, Eagles getting the ball back. The premiere of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network kicks off this Thursday when Pittsburgh meets Baltimore. An AFC North divisional showdown. Football starts here. We can't wait at CBS for the premiere of Thursday Night Football. The showdown at quarterback this Thursday between Big Ben and Joe Flacco. He's trying to bounce back after a disappointing season last year. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Over the middle, and there's Brent Selleck for an Eagles 1st down. Now in his 8th year, the 5th-round pick in 2007 out of Cincinnati. Sean McCoy starting this drive on the sideline with Darren Sproles next to Nick Foles, and here comes the tempo by the Eagles. Action, Macklin can't make the grab. This was the last time McCoy had the ball. Puzzluzny forcing him out. But again, the Eagles are going to rotate McCoy and Sproles a lot this year, and we've already seen them in the backfield together.
They are. Chip Kelly wants to limit the number of touches LaShawn McCoy had. 366 touches last year, most in the NFL. He doesn't feel like McCoy can hold up with that many touches this year. So this is by design, I'm sure.
And he doesn't need to with Sproles, who's got the ball here, putting on some moves, but he'll lose one on the play.
Yeah, this doesn't say anything about LaShawn McCoy. It says something about Sproles. I mean, they have a lot of confidence in him. Plus, I think when they're down 14 points in the 1st quarter, they're going to throw some people out there to try and get a handle on what Jacksonville's doing to them defensively, particularly up front.
Here comes McCoy right now back into the game. They take out Jeremy Macklin.
And Sproles will line up as a wide receiver on 3rd and 11. Philadelphia 1 for 3 on 3rd downs in this opening quarter. Foles to Sproles, and he is wrapped up immediately by Will Blackman.
And that's typical defense. Let him complete that pass. He can come up and make the tackle, and that's a Gus Bradley NFL 101 defense. You got a head coach as an NFL defensive coordinator. He's going to say, let him catch it, just tackle him, we get the ball.
And that philosophy coming with Gus Bradley from Seattle, very simple defensive concepts. Just play discipline, know your responsibilities, and get the job done.
Beautiful job by the Eagles special teams. Stoney Jones's punt is down at the 1. It was Boykin that got down there.
Well, this is how it's done. And he's allowed to catch this football if no Jacksonville Jaguars are around to try and catch it. He's perfectly allowed to catch that ball out of the air. Does a great job. Doesn't want to risk touching that line. That's all he has to do. If he touches that line, that's a touchback. Great heads-up play.
What in the world, Steve Tasker, do you know about special teams?
Not as much as I used to.
The greatest special teams player in the history of the NFL.
It's not hard, man. Just keep the ball out away from that white line.
How many times did you do that in your career?
Not enough.
Not enough?
For the guys that I've chased kicks for.
All right, big series for the Philadelphia defense here. They got to keep Jacksonville backed up, try and get some momentum.
Here comes the crowd as well with 1:27 to go in the first quarter. Henne, pump fake, looking deep again for Hearns. He's got it! First down, Jacksonville. Allen Hearns having a day here in the first quarter. 46-yard pickup.
Absolutely unbelievable. You see right there, the double move just absolutely destroyed the cornerback on that play. That was Kerry Williams. He was biting on that slant that Hearns scored on earlier. Great call.
Allen Hearns over 100 yards receiving here in the first quarter. Henne hit as he throws, gets it away to Lewis, the tight end. And he's tackled at midfield by Cedric Thornton.
I'll tell you, as a former quarterback, there's nothing you love more than a coach backed up. And Jed Fish, give the offensive coordinator credit, backed up in your own end zone, take a shot. Because you know the defense is trying to play aggressive to keep you bottled up back there. Great call by Jed Fish and great execution.
Yeah, you talk to head coaches that are defensive guys like Gus Bradley. The thing they fear most is an offense that's willing to do that out of their own end zone.
Second and 6. Gerhardt thrown down. Fletcher Cox on the tackle, but flags come in.
It might be a horse collar, and looked like Gerhardt got bent awkwardly over his right leg. He gets up limping.
And that's exactly why they've outlawed that from being a play in the NFL, why they're so sensitive to calling that, because the way that you get twisted up going down, and I'm sure we'll get a look at it, but Toby Gerhardt.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 91 of the defense. The 15-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Well, as bad as that is to give up that first down for Philadelphia, it's catastrophic for Jacksonville to lose Toby Gerhardt.
And completely uncalled for. I mean, he's right there. He's got him by the collar, pulls him down right there.
He'd have to be the right hand up front. His backhand was down below the collar. His left hand.
It's the way he's taken down from behind, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. He didn't actually grasp the collar up top.
And that's the thing. It did look like a horse collar tackle, but his hand placement, what a horse collar is, you have to stick your hand inside the collar of the neck and use it as a handle. Now, Cox didn't really do that. He had a good grip on the shoulder pad area of Gerhardt, and he had his right arm around in front, but the effect was the same.
Yeah, but by rule, you got to grasp him inside the collar or above the shoulder pads. Right there, that hand, he's got the jersey. You can see he's got the jersey, and that jerk down right there is what the officials saw.
That's technical. I mean, that's practically speaking, that's what a horse collar does. It allows the defender to fall on the back of the runner's legs, and it almost always ends in an injury like that, and that's why they outlawed it. Even though technically you and I don't either one of us think Cox actually did that. But that's the effect that it is. I mean, that's I agree with the call if it's a player safety, but the letter of the law, that was not a horse collar.
That is the end of the first quarter. Jacksonville leads 14-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second quarter here in Philadelphia, and Jacksonville attending to Toby Gerhardt on the sideline after going out after that horse tackle. Trying to flex his leg as the Jaguars hope he can get back out there. For the meantime, Denard Robinson, the former Michigan quarterback, now in at running back behind Chad Henne. Play action. And he finds Robinson, makes the catch at the 40, cuts back across the 35 and up to the 31-yard line. Denard Robinson really worked hard in this offseason to take on that running back mentality. He gained some weight. He worked on his pass catching as well, and he's their number 2 back this year after Maurice Jones-Drew went off to Oakland.
You know, they were about one block away from this being a big play. You saw the offensive lineman throwing the blocks out there at the legs of, and we got another injury right now.
Benny Logan, the Eagles' nose tackle, is down on the ground.
You know, when you call a screen pass, those linemen are coming out in the open field and throwing at the legs of the defenders. A lot of times you do get defenders rolled up on those plays. One more block made on the outside, and that would have been a big play for Denard Robinson, though.
There's Gerhardt still trying to stretch it out on the Jacksonville sideline. He told us yesterday he was excited for the opportunity to wake up sore again as Adrian Peterson's backup. Now he's finally the man here in Jacksonville, but this is not what he meant.
Well, yeah, he wanted to wake up sore, not injured.
Once again, Robinson is the running back. 2nd and 7 for Jacksonville. And he throws back incomplete. He was looking for the rookie out of Penn State, Allen Robinson. Coverage on the play by Kerry Williams.
Great physical coverage by Kerry Williams on the outside. Watch him jam up right there. They're trying to get the bubble screen behind him, but what he actually grabbed onto the collar there trying to stay with. That's what Gus Bradley's talking about. It's got to be holding. But just a good physical play from the referee's perspective.
And that was one of the keys that Chip Kelly told us in our meetings on Friday. Wanted his defense to play physical, try to jam the receivers at the line. They did it right there. And now it's 3rd and 7 for Jacksonville. 2 on the play clock, and Chad Henne has to call timeout. First time out of the half by Jacksonville. Well, fantasy football fans, if you want the best games, there's still time to play on the most awarded site. Create or join a league now at cbssports.com/football. Chip Kelly's 2nd year with Philadelphia. Eagles were 4-12 in the final season under Andy Reid, and then Kelly led them to a 10-6 record. He's the 2nd head coach in NFL history to win a division title in his first year. Barry Switzer, the other, in Dallas. 117 yards of offense in this first half for Gus Bradley and the Jaguars. And Chip Kelly's offense still scoreless here. The defense looking to make a big play. It's 3rd and 7 for Jacksonville.
Well, Jacksonville's benefited from good field position, and when they have been backed up, they made the big play coming out of the end zone. So really, execution at a very high level for the Jaguars offense so far.
And he's passed, batted down at the line. Connor Barwin, the 6-year player out of Cincinnati, getting his hand on that one, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, you had a little bit of a mismatch on the outside there. You had Jordan Todman, number 30, blocking Connor Barwin. That's a complete mismatch off the edge there. You're asking an awful lot out of your young, small running back to block a big. Look at that.
You can see the height difference. He does a nice job, but he stops him, but he can't keep his hands down.
That's like you trying to block me.
Almost.
Josh Scobie had a quad injury, did not practice for portions of the week. A 49-yard attempt, and the kick is good. Scobie had a great year last year, 23 out of 25 on his field goals, and he puts 3 more on the board for the Jaguars. How about this? 17-0 Jacksonville. Jaguars up 17-0 on Philadelphia with Steve Beuerlein and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalon. Toby Gerhardt, we've learned, has an ankle injury. He is questionable to return for Jacksonville.
And you see him trying to work it and get it loose on the sidelines.
I'll tell you, looking at it from my perspective, and I'm sure from the medical perspective, I think people are probably glad it's his ankle, not his knee, because it looks like he's going to be able to, at some point, work off that ankle injury.
Touchback by Scobie. And take a look at Jacksonville's first 5 possessions today. They've done a tremendous job after that initial punt. Keep in mind, that last field goal drive came when they started from their own 1-yard line.
Now, keep in mind also, this Jaguars offense is one that was ranked below 30th or below in several significant categories. Most importantly, points. They averaged 15.4 points a game last year. Absolute worst in the NFL.
And of course, Philadelphia starting with 2 fumbles to set up those touchdowns.
Eagles trying to get something going offensively here on first down. Foles' pass almost intercepted. He was looking for Jeremy Maclin, but Dwayne Gratz almost got his hands on it.
Yeah, it looks to me like, number one, and again, indecisive and late by Nick Foles. You can't You can't look left and come back and throw a hook route to the right side after pumping left. Number one. Number two, Jacksonville's challenging these receivers. They got to try and push the ball up the field a little bit.
Well, Sean McCoy, nowhere to go, out of bounds. Well, Zach Ertz had a 26-yard catch in the first quarter, but the Phillies, with their 20 other plays, they've gained a total of 36 yards.
Yeah, it's unusual to see Nick Foles go back and not have any options where he knows he can throw the football. One of the things this Philadelphia offense did real well with Nick Foles last year was get the ball out of his hands. That is just the opposite of what's happening today. He's trying to throw it and then pulling it back and not feeling confidence.
3rd down and 11. Foles in trouble and he's sacked. Ryan Davis with the sack. And the Jaguars defense forces another punt.
Well, look, coming into this game like we were dealing with a Super Bowl contender in this ball game, but I don't think we were considering it to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. At this point, they're bringing pressure. They're getting Philadelphia backed up in 3rd and long almost every drive, and Nick Foles is not looking like a quarterback that knows what to do with that football. They're losing the battle across the board right now.
And right tackle Aaron Barbary just stumbled off the field to be shaken up as Mike Brown fields the punt in his own 48. Brown's got a head of steam up to the 40-yard line, and great field position for the Jaguars to start this drive. It's all Jacksonville here in Philly.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Back in Philadelphia, aerial coverage of today's game is provided by DirecTV. Great field position for Jacksonville. 1st and 10 from the Philadelphia 40-yard line. Denard Robinson still in at running back for the injured Toby Gerhart. And they give it to Robinson on 1st down. Has some room up to the 35-yard line. The star so far for Jacksonville has been Allen Hurns, undrafted out of the University of Miami. He's got 3 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You'd have to go down the list. You wouldn't have to go down the list very far to find somebody who had a better game than that. Their first game as a professional.
And we're not even to halftime yet, so I think there's probably more to say about that in the coming remainder of this game.
Second rookie since '91 to score TD on Charlie Rogers from Detroit in 2003 also caught 2 touchdowns on his first 2 career receptions. That's the list right there.
I thought it was actually a shorter list than that.
I
thought it was 0.
He was the only guy on it.
3rd down and 1 for Jacksonville. High snap, and he fields it, gives it to Robinson, and he is stopped short. Snap was over Henne's head, and now it's 4th down.
Gus Bradley leaving him on the field. With
I like
the game
this call.
clock, well, with the game clock running, he may go this, or he may try and dummy snap him and then go kick the field goal.
It would be a 49-yarder again, which Scobie just made. 4th and 2.
Yeah, they're trying to draw him off sides.
Let the game clock run.
Now you're not going to run a play with your backup running back, a former quarterback in there, Denard Robinson,
And a
with
20-point
a short
lead.
yardage back and a 17-point lead. Yeah.
lead.
Well, Jim Nantz hosts a star-packed special celebrating NFL football and classic moments in prime time under the lights Wednesday on CBS. The eve of Thursday Night Football kicking off. So Jacksonville used its 2nd time out of the first half. They brought Scobie back out. He's got the most points in Jacksonville history, his 11th year. There's a bit of a question mark earlier this week with a quad injury, but here he is, already made a 49-yarder. They're going to call this a 50-yard attempt. one drifts wide. No good.
Well, that's a big positive for Philadelphia now. See if they can capitalize. They're going to get the ball where the ball was kicked from, the 40-yard line. Their average starting field position today is the 25, their own 25-yard line, while Jacksonville's had the ball out of there, starting on most all their drives, average starting field position 39-yard line. That's including getting one back in their own 1-yard line. So Philadelphia's got to take advantage of this field position, get some points on the board, get some momentum going.
Scobie been battling a quad injury that he had in the preseason. Didn't do much this week, but after the 49-yarder, you have to think he felt pretty good. Perhaps his legs starting to fatigue after not getting enough work for the last month.
Let's see if the Eagles can get something going. Foles to Matthews into Jacksonville territory. The rookie out of Vanderbilt with his first NFL catch, a 30-yard gain.
There's a flag down the field.
Late flag.
Late flag came in.
This may be a lead with the helmet on a defenseless player.
That was the exact same throw that Nick Foles missed earlier in the game. Matthews coming across the field.
Longest play of the
Personal
game.
foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 22 in the defense. Spearing. 15-yard penalty adding the end of the play. First down.
That's on Winston Guy. Last year, 3 of his hits resulted in penalties and 1 drew a fine. You like that call?
Well, the reason I don't mind it is because it was a late hit.
It was late, and he was going down at it. He used his shoulder, but he was going it down to a defensive receiver.
Foles end zone for Cooper, and he was out.
Good effort, good attempt at almost a great circus catch by Riley Cooper there. Nick Foles giving him a chance in the back corner, but very, very good coverage on the play.
Second down and 10, 10:43 to go in the first half. Foles into the air, has Macklin at the 5, and Philly finally putting something together offensively.
Now Philly's tempo is picking up. They all look to the sidelines to catch the next play. And now inside the 5, everything changes as the red zone offense takes over.
11-yard pickup for Macklin, first and goal, Philadelphia. Foles to the air again, looking end zone, intercepted, picked off by Alan Ball. Nick Foles had 2 interceptions all of last year. He throws one in the season opener here in 2014, the 3rd turnover of the game by Philly.
Well, that is absolutely inexcusable by Nick Foles. Alan Ball sitting out there in the back of the end zone, easy for a quarterback to see. Absolutely no excuse.
First career game for Nick Foles with 3 turnovers, the 2 lost fumbles, and then the interception in the end zone by Alan Ball. And Jacksonville goes back on offense, 1st and 10 from the 20. Good news for the Jaguars as Gerhardt is back in the game. Henne hit his throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Allen Hurns as we go back to the interception by Nick Foles.
I want you to look at the end man on the line of scrimmage. Brent Selleck right here. He's just going to go up and go to the corner, but watch Alan Ball right here. He just drops back. He's the widest defender. He's the only guy that Nick Foles should be looking at. You see what happens. He just falls right into it. That is just a bad decision by Nick Foles. Even thinking about throwing that football was covered perfectly by Alan Ball.
Kendricks coming up the middle. Henne gets rid of it to Mike Brown, who juggles it but makes the catch and falls forward to the 30-yard line, and that is a first down for Jacksonville.
Once again, now we're seeing a little bit more as everything settles in and Jacksonville starts to feel confident. They know they've got to get the ball out of Henne's hand, and that's one of the things you've noticed the entire game. Henne has not gotten stuck with the football. The one time he did, it ended up being fumbled out of bounds. But they're getting the ball out of his hands really quickly.
Brown in motion. Gerhardt. He gets a couple, but for Jacksonville, good to see him back in the ball game.
You know, I don't want to use the word guys overconfident, but we got a sense in our meetings on Friday with Philadelphia that they really did like the matchup up front. They felt that physically they could dominate this Jaguars offensive line. And right now you got to give a lot of credit to the Jaguars offensive line, a makeshift young offensive line that's holding up and giving Chad Henne pretty darn good protection.
Henne's pass is caught by Mercedes Lewis, and another Jacksonville first down.
You look at this offensive line and how they've come together. It hasn't been a work, that was a mastermind by any stretch of the imagination. They shuffled these guys around. McClendon's a guard who's now moved over to center. Luke Jokel, who only played in 5 games last year before he fractured his ankle at right tackle, now moves over to left tackle. And of course, you've got Linder, the rookie.
Gerhardt to the 45. Also, Austin Pastor, their normal starting right tackle, is out with a broken hand. So this makeshift line was a huge question mark, and we talked about it off the top of our broadcast. Can they hold the line? That was one of Jacksonville's keys to success, and they've done just that.
Well, it's interesting because that's what we thought, and I think that's what Jacksonville was afraid of. They didn't know if these guys would come together, and certainly Philadelphia knew exactly what was going on over there and thought they could take advantage of it.
Play action again. And he throws on the run to Hearns. Jacksonville with another first down, and the 4th catch of the day for Allen Hearns. We spoke with Marquise Lee yesterday, the rookie wide receiver, and he said that he really leaned on Hearns to run the playbook, and that's because Hearns played for Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator in Miami. So Allen Hearns, even though he was undrafted, very familiar with this offense, and he's showing it here in week 1.
Yeah, it pretty much was the same playbook. Jed Fish coming to the Jaguars from the University of Miami. And so that made Allen Hearns, undrafted rookie or not, the only real expert on that offense.
And to the air again, and Marquise Lee makes the grab. Tackled immediately by Brandon Boykin. And there is Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville. Was the offensive coordinator at the U in 2011 and 2012.
And it's not like Hearns doesn't have a pro body. He's 6'3", just under 200 pounds, so he is a big physical presence out there, and he's playing with a lot of confidence for a young guy, and that confidence is only growing here in this first half.
And that's an audible by Chad Henne right now. He's seeing something in this defense. Man-to-man coverage on the outside.
Pump fakes, looking for Brown. He's got it. Jacksonville moves the sticks again. Chad Henne is picking apart the Philadelphia defense.
Well, that's exactly what Chad Henne just did right there. He saw man-to-man bump coverage on the outside. He told us in our meeting yesterday he does have more freedom this year to go to things he sees. He saw a good matchup on the outside. Mike Brown going against Nolan Carroll, normally the nickel cornerback, and he takes advantage of it.
Henne is 11 out of 15 here in the first half, 167 yards. Near the flat.
That looked to be like it was on Philadelphia. I think Jokel was drawn offsides by the Eagles coming across the line of scrimmage.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was Zane Beatles who caught somebody in the neutral zone, then just reached across and touched him, which made the play dead. It's a smart play by really the only veteran on that line.
Right, he is the veteran presence in that O-line.
So following the penalty, 1st and 5 for Jacksonville at the Philadelphia 20-yard line. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Robinson makes the catch, but tackled immediately by Boykin. Allen Robinson, the 2nd-round pick this year out of Penn State, missed a lot of the preseason, all 4 preseason games with a hamstring injury. But again, Jacksonville with just 4 wide receivers today. Cecil Shorts is out, and Ace Sanders is suspended.
Yeah, Jacksonville has tried that bubble screen twice, and you get the feeling that the Eagles have seen it before with their own offense. They are very well versed on how to stop that play.
Yeah, they've defended it very well both times it's been run today.
Gerhardt on 2nd and 5. Met at the line, and that'll bring up 3rd down for Jacksonville. Well, the quarterback comparison is astonishing when you look at the numbers. And Nick Foles with 3 turnovers in the first half, and what a day for Chad Henne.
Yeah, it came out, it happened early. Chad Henne making big plays going down the field. He has got the big arm, and he's got the confidence in these young wide receivers. Nick Foles looking very unsure of himself. That's quite the different look than we were expecting.
11th play of the drive. It's 3rd down and 4. Another high snap by McClendon. Henne fields it, and his pass is incomplete. Marquise Lee was open, but Chad Henne's throw a bit wide, and that brings up 4th down.
I believe that would be on Marquise Lee. The first throw really his way. He came out of his break a little tentative, looked for the football. Chad Henne was expecting him to come out with the same speed. It was just a little hesitation by Marquise Lee. Should have been an easy throw and catch, but that's a communication thing. Not enough reps between Chad Henne and Marquise Lee.
So a 36-yard field goal attempt for Josh Scobie. He made from 49 and missed from 50. And that one is blocked. Looked like Kerry Williams may have got a hand on that one, and the Eagles special teams comes up with a big play with 4:36 to go in the second quarter. So Philly will get the ball back. They trail 17-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Microsoft. Introducing Cortana, your new personal assistant.
Back in Philadelphia, 4:36 to go, and they've just changed that block. Initially, they said Kerry Williams, but now they're giving Brandon Baer credit.
Yeah, they have 4 guys over 2. Luke Jokel and Zane Beadle, the left guard, left tackle, and then, of course, Carson Tinker, the long snapper, who's just trying to keep his head above water. He's 6 foot, 223 pounds. He can't help those 2 guys. And Philadelphia finally gets some progress against an offensive line that has been surprisingly stout today.
Yeah, you know, you've had a missed field goal and a blocked field goal. This game could be worse. It could be 23-0.
Brandon Baer, a great story, 29 years old, making his NFL debut today. Philadelphia with the ball on the 26-yard line. And they start this drive on the ground to McCoy. Not much doing. Geno Hayes getting back there for Jacksonville.
Well, Roy Miller did an outstanding job down inside. You see Mathis on the ground.
10th-year player out of Alabama. All-Pro and a Pro Bowler last year for the first time in his career. Such a key part of this Philadelphia offensive line. Played every snap last year for the Eagles.
Roy Miller did an outstanding job of holding the point of attack for Jacksonville. And Mathis got caught in the traffic as the play gummed up right at the point of attack. Right here.
So unappreciated what these guys go. He's standing around the pile and just gets rolled up.
And that's yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that you tell young players learning how to play football. You usually only get hurt if you're standing around the pile. That is not a good looking roll up there if there ever is. Well, there never is a good one, but
yeah.
You got to, young kids, if you're watching, you got to keep your feet moving around those piles. Bad things happen sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Andrew Gardner will take Mathis's spot. For how long is the question, as Mathis needs help coming off the field. Keep in mind, Lane Johnson is suspended 4 games. He's the normal right tackle.
and there you see, that's 5 guys along with Lane Johnson, who started all 16 games last year, this offensive line. It was one of the most intriguing things about the revolutionary stance that Chip Kelly came in. He came in with different schedule, different nutrition, different hydration, and it seemed to keep this Eagles team very healthy for the entire season. It's something that a lot of teams are very intrigued about.
Foles throws to Cooper. He makes the catch, but tackled immediately by Chris Clemens. That'll bring up 3rd down for Philadelphia with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. And there you see again Evan Mathis hobbles over to the Philly sideline.
You know, you just see some sort of indecision across the board in this Philadelphia offense. They are not getting the kind of looks they're expecting, and Nick Foles is unsure where he's going with that football.
3rd and 7, and a flag comes in. There was some contact between Alan Ball and Riley Cooper.
This is right at the point of attack. I mean, right at the top of the route.
Holding, number 23 in the defense. The 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
And for anybody who has been keeping track of the NFL in the preseason, you'll know that this is one of the things that they have been keeping track of. And Foles took a shot. Nick Foles took a shot as Davis comes right up the middle. Yeah, that was Davis again.
And look at his head, though, right there.
Oh, he
gets
hit
hit from behind. It might have.
That's what does it.
So following the penalty, 1st and 10. McCoy cuts back. He's wrapped up at the 39-yard line. Jonathan Cyprien in on the stop after a pickup of 6. 3 timeouts remain for Philadelphia here in the first half. They trail 17-0. McCoy with 10 carries for 39 yards, and Mark Sanchez, just in case, now getting loose on the Philadelphia sideline. Foles is sacked again. That is Derek Marks. He had 4 sacks last year and his first of this season.
Well, that's right over the top of the backup guard now. Andrew Gardner and Derek Marks taking advantage of that mismatch, that opportunity. Already we're seeing the significance of losing a valuable starting offensive lineman like Evan Mathis.
So another big 3rd down here for Philadelphia, 3rd and 11. They've allowed 4 sacks today against the Jacksonville defense. Foles throws, and it's complete, but short of the first down. Another flag comes in, though, from the Jacksonville secondary. Macklin made the catch. And now let's hear what Jeff Triplett has to say.
Illegal contact. Number 24 in the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Another huge penalty goes against the Jacksonville defense, and Steve Tasker mentioned this just a few moments ago, the points of emphasis this year, and that's one of them, as you see Mathis now leaving the field in a cart.
Yeah, that was definitely contact. Will Blackman, now last year that would not have been called, right?
No.
Steve Tasker was not emphasized as much. Boy, look at this.
Now they've got Barbary, who's in for Lane Johnson at right tackle, and Philadelphia's got to be looking around thinking, who are we going to put in next? They had 0 injuries last year. Now they've lost 2 guys in the space of 6 plays.
Foles looking deep for Macklin, and it's incomplete. Macklin nearly came down with it, and now one of the Jaguars is injured on the field. That's Cyprien.
Cyprien went up. That's right over the top is Cyprien and Macklin, and he get tangled up and right on the ground.
Wow. Yeah, that impact is.
Oh, that's.
Hate to see that.
And his teammates. Yeah, that's. As you and I mentioned a moment ago, when Nick Foles took a hit, it's the back of your head when you get hit back there. It's one where players usually think, wow, that was bad. And his teammates who talked to him just from him, they knew immediately that he was not right.
Yeah, they started waving immediately for the medical staff to get out there.
It wasn't player-to-player contact. It was as he fell to the ground, the back of his head. Even though you're wearing that helmet, it doesn't help that much.
Cyprien had a great rookie season last year. Team high, 1,044 snaps. He made 98 tackles. Second-year player out of Florida International.
You know, and the helmet technology is so much better now than back when we played, but you still cannot disregard the fact that there's no perfect.
Yeah,
and he's up, he's sitting up, but so good to see that. But you know, you got to respect what these guys put themselves through to play this game.
Nice hand from the fans here in Philadelphia with 2:21 to go in the second quarter.
And the guy they call sick.
Gus Bradley wants him to be the Cam Chancellor of this Jacksonville defense, and Gus Bradley.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. He's physically gifted enough to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Gus Bradley actually put those two in touch because obviously Bradley coached Chancellor in Seattle. So last year as a rookie, Cyprian was able to lean on Chancellor a little bit to see how Gus Bradley wanted him to play that position. And that relationship has certainly been beneficial for now the second-year player out of Florida International.
Well, Gus Bradley's become such the focal point of this franchise. Even all the free agents they picked up this year, particularly defensively with Red Bryant, Chris Clemens coming over from Seattle, and all the other guys they picked up from Seattle even last year, they all point to Gus Bradley as the main reason they became Jaguars.
And that brings Josh Evans into the game right there, but I will tell you this, I think it was a bad decision. You saw double coverage on that play. Nick Foles, again, lucky to get away with that.
Foles again, nobody near that pass. A miscommunication with Riley Cooper and more boos here in Philly.
Some of these things really are inexcusable. You know, you'd expect to see more of this with Chad Henne and his rookie wide receivers than you would with Nick Foles and his established veteran wide receivers like Riley Cooper. These guys went the whole year last year together. You know, 10 starts for Nick Foles and had a very successful connection ratio, I'm sure, and just not seeing it today.
3rd down and 10. Foles in trouble again. Gets away from one, now throws, and it is caught by Macklin right at the sticks and a 1st down. Well, that's a clutch play by Nick Foles. Looked like he was headed for his 5th sack of the game. Instead, Foles, who's limping a bit, is able to pick up the 1st as we've reached the 2-minute warning in Philadelphia. 2-minute warning at Lincoln Financial Field. It's been all Jacksonville in this first half. Alongside Steve Tasker and Steve Beuerlein, I'm Andrew Catalon. Who saw this coming? 17-0 Jaguars. 1st and 10 for Philadelphia from just about midfield. Fake it to McCoy. Now Foles will throw it to McCoy. Has a little bit of room to run. Cuts back on Kozlowski, and he's got the 1st down. And the ball came out late. Are they going to say he was down? No, it's Jacksonville football.
There was no whistle.
Officials will huddle up, and of course it will be reviewed. Every turnover is reviewed. There was no whistle. Ball came out late.
Yeah, he's
and they're showing a replay here in the stadium, and it looks like McCoy's knee was down.
Yeah, and the fumble was caused by him hitting the ground with his elbow anyway. So
here
the ground cannot cause a fumble.
And right there, he's
the knee's down, the ball's down.
The ball's tucked in, the ball
Pops
comes out by
yeah.
the ground. Yeah, that's the officials. To their credit, they'll let that play out just in case it is a big play for either team.
The previous play.
By making it a turnover, they automatically review it, so neither team needs to waste a challenge to do it. I think the officials are getting smarter about doing that, even though they may know. Well, even if they don't know, they're going to let it play out.
Right. Now, one of the changes this year with replay is there's replay review based in New York. The VP of NFL officiating, Dean Blandino, and Senior Director of officiating, Alberto Riveron, they're looking at this play right now. And what they told us before the season is that an obvious call, this shouldn't take very long. In New York, they've already seen this. And when Jeff Triplett gets to the hood, they can just tell Triplett right away, hey, this is going back to the Eagles. So
pretty clear, yeah.
Let's see if
there's a couple
plays out.
There's a couple of levels of new technology on the field for the officials. One is, as you mentioned, replay goes national and they can get it immediately. Another is that all the officials were using headsets in the preseason so that they can talk to each other.
All right, let's bring in Mike Carey, our officiating expert back in New York. What do you see here, Mike?
Hi, Andrew. I think you're going to find one of these quick reviews by Dean Blandino in the office in New York. The runner had contact prior to his knee coming down. He had complete control with the knee hit. Then the ball comes loose, down by contact. You'll have a reversal on this play.
All right, thank you, Mike. And on cue, here comes Jeff Triplett. So, just as the NFL wanted some quicker reviews this year, and Triplett's ready to make the call.
The ruling on the field is reversed. The runner is touched down by contact by number 51 at the 39-yard line on the far hash, making the line to gain. It'll be 1st and 10. Philadelphia. The clock is correct.
Clock is correct, 1:50 and 3 timeouts left for the Eagles, just one for Gus Bradley and the Jags.
We got one right.
1 for 1.
Albeit it was probably
it's
the
week
easiest one we've ever
so
had.
yeah, it's week 1, so we're doing good.
Play action. Now Foles loses the football again, and he falls on it. There's a penalty flag down, but this Jacksonville defense has been flying all first half, and they do it again. Now, what was the call? Looks like it might be a hold.
Holding on the offense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is second down.
Nearly the 4th turnover of the half by Nick Foles, and this first half is, let's face it, just been an absolute disaster for the Eagles.
Well, this is a screen pass that was set up to the left side, and you got to give credit. I don't think you put the blame so much on Nick Foles there. That was great defensive recognition by the Jaguars and good pressure again.
They lost 17 on the play. This pass is caught by Jeff Mail, the second-year player out of Oregon. And now Philly trying to move with 125 and counting in the first half.
You know, you hate to panic here, but I think it's absolutely crucial that Philadelphia gets something on the board here to end this first half. They've got to go in to the locker room on some sort of positive note.
Flag again. Henne, Foles in trouble, flicks it away. His pass caught by Sproles. And now let's see what the flag is. Chris Clemens was bringing the pressure.
He was a little bit early, I think. A little bit of a jump.
Offside defense, number 91. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
Came over from Seattle in the offseason, but played for the Eagles in 2008 and 2009.
You know, it truly is amazing how some of these veteran leaders that come over from an old team, from a Super Bowl champion Seattle, see how they can impact the confidence of a football team. And not that that's the reason this is happening, but it could be part of it.
3rd down and 10. Foles has time. Now running right, throwing deep, looking end zone, and it's incomplete. No flag. Jeremy Maclin, the intended receiver. Josh Evans on the coverage for Jacksonville.
And Winston Guy, the safety, number 22, was asking for a little offensive push-up. I think they could have gotten an offensive pass interference right there. The fans want defensive, but I think that was Jeremy Maclin pushing off right there. You see his arms extended.
Yeah, interesting enough, this official was a former free safety in the National Football League, Steve Freeman, so he knows what he's looking at. He played for 11 years.
Would have been a 56-yard field goal instead. Donnie Jones punts it back to Jacksonville with 50 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and it's raining boos in Philly.
And rightfully so.
Well, Week 1 NFL action continues later today on Fox, and then tonight at 8:30 Eastern. And also, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for a Monday Night Football doubleheader. Week 1 in the NFL, and there's no doubt the biggest surprise so far is right here in Philadelphia, where Jacksonville has a 17-0 lead. The Jags averaged 15 points per game last year. That was dead last in the NFL. They have 17 here in the first half against this Eagles defense. Jordan Todman on the carry. And Benny Logan with the tackle.
Last season, the Jaguars struggled in their first 8 games. They didn't shut anybody out in the first half of 2013. Now, they did improve in the second half of the season. At one point, they had won 4 out of 5. But they finished the second half 4-4.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowan for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a special preview of the debut of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. A big hello to the new guys, Bart Scott and Tony Gonzalez. 2 timeouts remaining for Philly after they called timeout following that last play on 2nd and 10. Once again, Todman is the running back. They give it to Todman, and he gets to the 10-yard line. Connor Barwin makes the tackle, and Philadelphia immediately calls timeout. They have 1 remaining.
And you're right, Steve Beuerlein. I agree with you. They're still holding out hope on the Philadelphia sideline of getting this ball back and getting something done before halftime. It's so critical to go in, taking a deep breath, after saying, okay, we finally caught our breath. But after being shut out for most of the first half, they would love, even a field goal would change everything at halftime for this Eagle team in the locker room.
They will be getting the ball to start the second half as well, so that it is so important to try to put back-to-back scores on the board for this Eagles team if they want to get back into this ball game and kind of chip away at the confidence of the Jaguars at this point.
Guys, how about this? Alan Hearns has 110 yards receiving. The Eagles, as a team, have 116 yards in the first half. It's 3rd down and 9. They're going to keep it on the ground. Big Philly used that last timeout. Todman on the carry, short of a first down. And the Eagles call their final timeout, but Jacksonville will have to punt it away.
And I know people in Jacksonville are probably wondering why you don't take a shot at making a play right there with a 17-point lead and trying to force the Philadelphia Eagles to take their last timeout. If Chad Henne throws a pass there, it's incomplete. The clock's going to stop. It gives Philadelphia a timeout left as well. So definitely the right call by Gus Bradley in this situation to run the ball, try to get the first down, and make Philadelphia use their last timeout.
And everything counts as well. Brian Anger is probably is the top punter in the National Football League, and you can bet he's going to do his best to hit a bomb right here and put Darren Sproles way back inside his 30-yard line. And it's using everything at your disposal to put the Eagles in a bad spot by Gus Bradley.
And they'll have about 30 seconds left now with no timeouts.
High kick again by Anger, and another fair catch called for by Sproles, and he had some room to run.
They told Sproles to fair catch that before he went on the field. You know that's the case. Sproles is a guy who has a lot of confidence. They want the ball in the hands of their offense. They didn't want to take any chances about not getting a chance to run this play the way they wanted to.
A 49-yard punt coming up. Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowell. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. Also that special preview of the debut of Thursday Night Football on CBS. The NFL Network that's coming up. Verizon Halftime Report. 29 seconds to go in the first half. No timeouts for the Eagles. Foles short over the middle to McCoy. It's away from one. Trying to get to the outside. He's tackled. And that's going to be a first down for Philly, but the clock continues to tick. 15 seconds remain.
I'm going to spike this.
Clock stops with 12 seconds remaining.
Now, they do not have time to make a play in the field of play, up the field into field goal range, and get on the ball and stop the clock. Now, the number most offensive coaches want, they got to get about 20 yards here to get into field goal range for Parkey. They don't have time to get 20-yard gain and stop the clock, so they got to use the sideline.
McCoy makes the catch at the 45, out of bounds at midfield. Evan Mathis, the left guard for Philadelphia, will not return today. And Alan Barbary is questionable, so big injuries on the Eagles' offensive line with 7 seconds to go in the first half. Foles has all day. And he'll throw one up into the end zone. This is the final play of the half, and it is incomplete. And so ends a disastrous half of football for the Philadelphia Eagles. Chad Henne and the Jaguars run off with a 17-0 lead. And they can't boo loud enough here in Philly. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The ultimate picture cam. Nick Foles hit, lost the football. Chris Clemens applied the pressure. Ryan Davis recovered. One of 3 Philadelphia turnovers by Nick Foles in that first half. Back in the booth with the Steve Beuerlein and Steve Tasker. What a disaster that first half was for the Philadelphia Eagles. Their high-flying offense we talk so much about. No points. How do they get it going in the second?
Well, both Steve Tasker and myself have been in locker rooms similar to what the Eagles are going through right now, what they've been through. You know how you have to handle this situation. If you're Chip Kelly, you get the ball back right away. You've got to preach to your team. If we go down and score right now and our defense goes out there and stops them, we get the ball back, we get back in control of this football game. He's got to get them believing that they can do it. They've got to find a way to get some rhythm offensively. It maybe involves Ertz. It maybe involves Darren Sproles, but they've got to find rhythm somehow.
And for Jacksonville, this is not a position they're in very often. How do they close the deal here today?
Well, they've got to fight against the mentality of hanging on to the lead. They've got to go out and play aggressive. They do it one play at a time, and they can use plays offensively that attack the Philadelphia Eagles defense. But what they have to keep from doing, and they don't have to roll the dice, they can still play aggressively, particularly against the Eagles' offensive line, which is completely banged up here in the second half, and take advantage of it defensively. And offensively, just keep on keeping on. They don't have to pull the sails in at all. They can be very aggressive without being crazy.
Yeah, I think we'll see Jacksonville, when they have the ball, they'll stay aggressive because they've been playing very smart. They'll try and keep Philadelphia off balance. But I think they're going to definitely try and milk the clock as much as they can. We won't see them going in their version of the up-tempo at all.
Nolan Carroll is back deep for Philadelphia. And another touchback off the leg of Scobie, and what a brutal first half it was for Nick Foles, first time in his career with 3 turnovers in a game.
Well, it started early, and you could just tell he never got into his rhythm. The staple for him last year you could always count on, and we talked about it with him. He's grabbing his right knee, bumped up there a little bit. We talked about it with him on Friday. He doesn't throw interceptions. He doesn't turn over the football. You go back as far as you want. He's going to make good decisions, be smart with the football when the opportunity's there, take it. Today he has not played that way at all. He looks lost to me.
Foles has time on first down, but his pass is incomplete. Looking for Riley Cooper. Allen Ball stride for stride with Riley Cooper.
And I think that's the surprising thing we've seen throughout the first half. They seem out of sync on those routes that are just deep comebacks. He had plenty of time on the bootleg to find Riley Cooper, and Riley Cooper doesn't look for the football until it's already past him. They seem completely out of sorts on their timing.
Cooper makes the catch here, and he's quickly taken down. Derek Marks making the tackle on Riley Cooper, and that'll bring up third down for Philadelphia. Well, here's a look at the first half possessions for the Eagles. Not pretty. Fumbles, punts, and that interception in the end zone thrown by Nick Foles. They were 2 for 8 on third downs in the first half. 3rd and 7, Foles. And he's got the first down to Macklin. Just at the stick, and Philadelphia keeps the drive alive. Tackle made by Paul Posluszny. Eagles need a spark here. Try to get the fans back into this game. It's just silent here at Lincoln Financial Field. There's McCoy running right, nothing doing there.
And I think you can look for this to be a theme throughout the second half. The Eagles may run it just to keep the Jacksonville Jaguars honest, but their offensive line just can't get anything done against this front of Jacksonville.
That's Paul Posluszny who is shaken up on the play.
And one guy Jacksonville cannot afford to lose defensively. He is their bloodline. He's the one that keeps that defense going. See right away he goes to that knee.
Well, he hit it on the ground right there.
Steve, you're 100% right, though. Philadelphia has got to stay at this point with the running game. They're down 17 points. It's 3 possessions. They've got to keep it balanced as much as they possibly can to keep Jacksonville honest. But there is an urgency. They've got to get points on the board.
J.T. Thomas comes in to play the middle with Posluszny on the sideline. 2nd down and 11 for Philadelphia. Cooper again makes the catch at the 35, tackled right away by Allen Ball. So 3rd and 2 here for the Eagles. Foles to Selleck, and he pushes forward, see where the spot is. He's juggling the ball at the end, but it's good for a first down.
They're going to give him forward progress and call him down by contact. Even though that ball came out late and was behind the line to gain, they called his forward progress right there. This ball comes out. You see there, it comes out before he's actually down.
Eagles 2 for 2 on 3rd downs in this half so far as McCoy gets the carry on 1st down. Check that, it was Darren Sproles.
One of the things, that's it again, they'll try and run it on that first down play to make sure Jacksonville stays honest, but it brings up, in the last two series of downs before they get the first down, it's a 2nd and 9 or a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, getting yards on first down is so vital to the success of any offense if you want to keep the defense honest.
Foles throws it behind Jordan Matthews. He had a step, he was open, and Foles could not connect. 3rd down and 9 for Philadelphia.
There's no reason for this. I mean, he's got his feet set. Matthews is wide open. There's no pressure, and that ball wasn't even close. Now, I don't know if Jordan Matthews was too quick on his route. The bottom line is he was wide open.
You see that your average yards to go on 3rd down, but here's a new one for you. You're a quarterback telling him it was a bad throw, and I'm a receiver, or at least I did during the week. I'm telling you the guy should have caught the ball.
Well, maybe
he's got to spin and catch that.
That was a tough catch.
3rd and 9, screen to Sproles, makes the tough catch, has some room to run, and he's tackled about a yard short of a first down. Very close, but J.T. Thomas made the stop.
I would like to see Chip Kelly go for it here. They're doing it for sure.
Out there. He's animated on the sideline. He's doing it very fast as well. They're going to quick snap this, and the defense isn't set yet.
50% on 4th downs last year. Sproles up the middle, first down and more. Darren Sproles off to the races. Can he get there? Yes, touchdown Philadelphia.
That was all tempo by Chip Kelly. He called it right after they missed on the 3rd and short. He said quick snap it. And the Jacksonville Jaguars were very late getting set. They were fatigued. They'd had enough.
They were lazy getting up to the ball, no doubt.
That's what they ran it right up the middle of the formation.
Red Bryant told us, Gus Bradley told us, you can see them moving around. They're not set. They're not ready. They might have been a step out of position. I said, let's try to get Darren Sproles more involved in the second half. He's been out here most of this series. Had a good play on the screen pass before that. They popped the big one. I think it was a great decision by Chip Kelly to go for it on 4th and 1.
A 49-yard run, the longest of Darren Sproles' career, and finally a spark here in Philly. The Eagles are on the board. They trail by 10.
Back it all.
These guys are
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by DirecTV. Finally, some noise here in Philly as the Eagles are on the scoreboard here in the 3rd quarter. 11:44 to go. Darren Sproles, the 49-yard touchdown run. Jordan Todman out of his own end zone. And a nice tackle on special teams. That is Chris Maragos. Came over from the Seahawks in the offseason.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why this play was successful for Philadelphia. You see the guys up front, you saw the unsettledness, but look at the safeties right here. Watch, they're both going to run up to the line to support the run on the inside, and watch what happens when Darren Sproles makes the move up inside. There's no safety support. It's the easiest touchdown run I guarantee you he's ever had at this level. A great call by Chip Kelly, and just caught Jacksonville completely off guard.
Toby Gerhart in at running back, injured his ankle back in the first half. He'll get the ball on first down. Move those legs forward, and Fletcher Cox not having that.
You see about the tempo that the Eagles put forth on that first drive out of halftime, and that's exactly one of the benefits that you get is the fact that deep into a drive, and they'd gotten 2 first downs already, or maybe 3, and that defense gets more tired and more tired and more tired, and you see the mental mistake that happened. Sure, they wouldn't have given up the first down on that inside run, but they wouldn't have given up the touchdown had those safeties played it the right way.
Lewis on the screen, and Connor Barwin was not fooled. Held his ground to make the stop, and 3rd and long coming up for Jacksonville.
And you know what happens, Andrew, in this type of situation now? Your coach preaches at halftime, we get the ball first, let's go down and score. Defense, you get out there and do. Now the defense goes out there on the field. Hey, the offense did their job, let's go out and do our job. The fans get into it. All of a sudden, they start believing they get back in this ballgame.
3rd downs were a big problem for Jacksonville last year. They were dead last in the league, and so far today they're 0 for 6 on 3rd downs.
Dangerous situation here. 3rd and long, backed up in your own end zone. Chan Hitty's got to be smart with the football.
Todman out of the backfield makes the catch at the 20, but he's well short of the first down, and the Philly defense forces a 3 and out.
Halftime can cure a lot of problems when you go in and get a deep breath and get a chance to look each other in the eye and get your coach's take on how you played, not only for the Philadelphia offense, which was so abnormally bad in the first half, but also their defense. And there's obvious both sides of the football came out in the second half rejuvenated.
Sproles has some room to run here. Sproles trying to get outside. Now cuts it back inside into Jacksonville territory, and great field position coming for the Eagles. A 22-yard return by Darren Sproles. He's ignited that spark here in Philly. Sproles and McCoy trying to fire up the Birds.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at kbb.com.
In the first half, Philadelphia only had 2 plays of 20 yards or more. They already have 2 of those plays in this half. They're on the board. They got the ball back. It's 17-7 in great field position for the Eagles. Paul Posluszny back in the game at linebacker for Jacksonville. Foles to the air on first down. Overthrows Zach Ertz. Allen Ball on the coverage for Jacksonville.
Here's the key, and I think a big difference between this Jacksonville Jaguars team and last year's team, though. You bring in the veterans that they did on defense to come in and bring that poise and that calmness and that confidence to him. This situation, a younger defense is going to get a little rattled on the road. Posluszny, Bryant, Clemens, those guys are going to keep their composure.
McCoy slipping tackles. And McCoy is tackled at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, this is why they call him Shady McCoy right here. I mean, you're trying to tackle a shadow. I mean, 2 guys completely whiff, and they were 2 yards away from him.
Tempo again for Philly on third down. McCoy running the wrong way, but he's going to get the first down.
His instinct was right there. LaShawn wanted to bounce that outside, but realized, hey, listen, I got to get the first down. I need 2 yards. I don't need 20 right here.
And you see how good he is, but that's also the reason they brought in Darren Sproles. He had 366 touches, as you said, in the first half. That's too many. You need to give the guy a break. Let Sproles come in and carry maybe 15% of those. It would be awesome.
That's why I said it was the offensive pickup of the year. I think it's going to pay off as the year goes along.
Foles to McCoy. Spun down at the 24-yard line, but Philadelphia moving the ball here on this drive. Telvin Smith on the stop.
One of the things that's different about this Philadelphia offense, a lot of people run tempo, but they don't do it with a bunch of personnel combinations. Philadelphia runs guys on and off the field constantly, and it puts pressure not only on the players defensively, but also on their coaching staff to match up those personnel groupings as well. So they really, really stress their opponent in every aspect of their organization.
They fake it to Sproles. Foles comes back to the tight end, Selleck. He's dragged down. That is Telvin Smith again, the rookie out of Florida State, a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, and Gus Bradley talked about Telvin Smith. Runs about a 4.4 40. They put a little bit of weight on him. He slipped in the draft a little bit lower than they thought he should have, and they were very happy to get him in the 5th round. They think he can be a special player down the road with his speed and his overall football ability.
3rd down and 5. Foles looking deep for Ertz. He's got it. Touchdown, Philadelphia! A 25-yard touchdown.
Well, we said it. Sproles and Ertz at halftime are 2 guys that you would maybe look to. They're dynamic players that could step up and make a difference in this second half. Nick Foles, good decision. The ball floated a little more than I thought he should. He could have put that ball a little bit more zip. It brought the safeties in and made it a tighter play than it had to be, because you see right there, Ertz is wide open down the middle of the field.
They're going to take a look at this one. We'll be back right after this.
After reviewing the play in review, ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown.
We welcome in Mike Carey, our officiating expert back in New York. Mike, get a chance to take a look. You agree with the call by Jeff Triplett?
Yes, I do, Kevin. You have another tight one here. So as soon as a body part other than the hands or feet hit the ground, the ball is dead at that point. And was it breaking the plane at that instant is one that we have to leave stand because we didn't have that view.
Extra point is good. The Eagles with 14 points in the quarter, and they are within 3 here in Philly. Eagles did not score in the first 33 minutes of this game. Now they've scored 14 points in the last 4:25, and Nick Foles has started to heat up here in the second half. They are within 3. Todman will take a knee. This place is jumping as we go back to the touchdown by Zach Ertz.
All right, we're going to watch Zach Ertz. He's right here on the side. All he's going to do is run right down the middle of the field. But here is Telvin Smith, and I believe him being the rookie and Paz Lesney being the other linebacker, one of them has to carry Zach Ertz up the middle of the field. Now, I said that I thought maybe Nick Foles should have had a little more zip on that ball. I look at it again. I said that was a pretty darn good throw by Nick Foles. Put it up high to his big man, let him go up and get it. Great execution, the right read, and another touchdown for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's see if the Jaguars have an answer with 7:19 to go in the third quarter. Mike Brown in motion. Henne's pass is deflected at the line and incomplete. Well, this Jacksonville team is very young. 12 rookies, 10 second-year players. Their average age is just over 25. And Gus Bradley told us yesterday, when we get punched in the mouth, how are the young guys going to react? So let's see if Jacksonville's young guys can rise to the occasion here as their lead has been cut down to 3. Henne's screen pass is incomplete. He was looking for Jordan Todman. And that'll bring up third down. Has not gone well today for Jacksonville. They're 0 for 7 on third downs.
You talk about how things went well in the first half for Jacksonville. One of the reasons was because of the turnovers they got. Now when they've got to make their own way with not such good field position, they're going to have to find a way to manufacture a first down.
And I do think they're missing Toby Gerhart, too. Second half, we haven't seen him out there yet. I'm taking that as his ankle maybe tightened up at halftime, and he can't come out here and function.
Henne's pass is low and incomplete, and another quick 3 and out.
Yeah, this looks like a different Jaguars team. I think they've gotten more conservative in their overall mentality. Chad Henne, being the veteran on this team, he's got to be able to step up and make that throw.
Yeah, he just threw that into the dirt.
Yeah, Mike Brown was open, had a step going inside, and that ball was not thrown well at all. I think he had to adjust his delivery a little bit with a hand that he saw. It might have flashed in front of him, but still he's got to make that throw. That's part of the game.
Anger's punt is nearly blocked. Sproles at his own 26. Darren Sproles trying to electrify the crowd again, and he gets close to midfield. We go back to New York, an NFL update with JB and Boomer.
17 unanswered by the Falcons.
Well, here's an electrifying young man, as Tony Gonzalez has been telling us. You got to get the ball to Anton Smith, and this is exactly what Matt Ryan does. 54 yards later, he goes in for a touchdown. That's 17 unanswered points by the Falcons here in the second half. They start the fourth quarter with the lead, 24-20 over the Saints.
Gonzalez says the coaches just weren't listening to him, Boomer. Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
All right, guys, thank you. Atlanta's won its last 6 home openers, and you heard Boomer say it here in Philly. The Eagles have 14 unanswered points. They're within 3. Foles and the Eagles offense back on the field. Foles is all day. And now he'll throw it to McCoy at midfield, and he is tripped up from behind. Nice tackle by Geno Hayes.
Well, you wonder why he was holding the ball so long. He was trying to get the ball up the field to Macklin. He almost thought he had a chance, but ball came in there and scared him off of it. That's why he held the ball as long as he did. A good job passing off coverage by the Jaguars secondary.
I think Macklin felt open. He didn't realize ball had fallen off the outside receiver, was running with him.
You know that feeling, right? You think you're open.
Oh, I know what it's like to be covered, yes.
You were always a decoy anyway. You know what it's like to be covered.
McCoy again, great tackle by Andre Branch, the third-year player out of Clemson. Jaguars have some players on defense. Branch is one of them.
And Branch is one of the guys that Gus Bradley would love to see progress a little bit. He's been a little slower coming along than they thought he would be at this point. Got a lot of potential. If he could bring some pressure off that other side, that would really help this pass rush.
3rd down and 8. Foles looking deep for Cooper. Incomplete. Allen Ball again on the coverage for Jacksonville. That brings up 4th down. And the punt unit comes out for Chip Kelly and the Eagles.
Yeah, Cooper started drifting inside, and Foles threw that to the right spot. Cooper tried to give him some room on the outside and couldn't get back out to catch the football. That was a nice throw by Foles right out to the spot where a receiver would want it. And I think Cooper had already taken himself out of the play.
I think Cooper probably would expect himself to make that catch. That's a catch that a lot of NFL receivers make.
Mike Brown on the punt return, and the Jacksonville defense desperately needed that. A bit winded here in the 3rd, but they get off the field quickly. The Big Bang Theory is time traveling to a new night with back-to-back episodes. Don't miss Emmy winner Jim Parsons as the new season begins Monday, September 22nd, only CBS. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville, 5:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. Play fake to Gerhardt, and Henne again incomplete. Was looking for the tight end Mickey Schuler, and Connor Barwin applying the pressure on Chad Henne.
Yeah, Connor Barwin brought it off the edge. Did not bite on any kind of play action here whatsoever. That he was coming up the field playing bootleg all the way. And I'll tell you, there's no worse feeling as a quarterback than turning around and seeing a big old ugly helmet right in your face like that. Not a good feeling at all.
Jaguars only had 7 yards of offense this half. They've run 8 plays. 2nd and 10. Henne looking deep for Hearns. Incomplete off his fingertips. Bradley Fletcher on the coverage.
Well, Hearns hasn't been targeted yet this half, and they took a shot to go down the field, and that I don't have a problem with that play selection. Hearns, if he'd have laid out, that was a pretty close to being a very big play, and that's exactly the kind of spark Jacksonville would like to get back to get them started. They've been in their own end, actually inside their own 20 for the entire 3rd quarter. They need a play to get a chunk of yardage to give them some momentum and some rhythm offensively.
You're right.
Plus give their defense a chance to rest.
That was a great throw, and it was great coverage by Bradley Fletcher. You saw Chad Henne getting hit by Brandon Graham on that play too.
Chad Henne calls a timeout with this place rocking in Philly. And he's thrown 5 straight incompletions. Big 3rd down and 10 coming up here for the Jaguars. Well, later today, it's the women's singles final at the U.S. Open. As top-seeded Serena Williams takes on her good buddy Caroline Wozniacki, and then tomorrow it's the men's final as Kei Nishikori faces Marin Cilic of Croatia after the 2 big upsets yesterday in the men's semis. And here's a look at the women's championship. These two are very close friends. Serena looking for her 18th Grand Slam title, and Wozniacki still going for number 1. 3rd down and 10. Jacksonville 0 for 8 on 3rd downs today. Henne lofts one for Lee, incomplete. Threw it into double coverage. Looked like Lee had a good chance to reel that one in, but instead another failed 3rd down for Gus Bradley and the Jags.
I don't know if that was the right read on the throw in double coverage like that, but I'll tell you what, it was a great throw, and Marquise Lee has no excuse not to catch that ball. That ball was put exactly where it had to be by Chad Henne between 2 defenders. Marquise Lee, as he goes on in his career, he's going to be expected to make that play.
Darren Sproles has returned the last 2 punts for 22 yards apiece. This one is a little wobbly and takes an Eagles hop that is down close to the 40-yard line with 5:09 to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Jaguars defense going back out on the field. They've had to work very hard here in this third quarter. And for Chad Henne, nothing going right for the Jacksonville offense here since halftime.
No, they had a big huddle right on their sideline as their defensive coordinator brought him in and gave him a little bit of a pep talk. This is an enormous series. As Bob Babich gave the Jacksonville Jaguars defense a big talking to before they come out and attempt to stop the Eagles on this drive.
Foles to Cooper, flag on the play. Pass is caught in Jacksonville territory. It'll be a first down if it stands.
2 flags.
Flag at the line of scrimmage and in the secondary.
Question is, did Cooper push off or did...
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding. Defense, number 91. That penalty is declined. Illegal contact, number 23 of the defense. That penalty is also declined. The result of the play is a first down.
It's Alan Ball on the illegal contact. Again, we see the new rule implemented here. Ball was complaining that he might have been pushed by Cooper, but they're really focused on that defensive illegal contact.
So once again, the Eagles in Jacksonville territory here in the third quarter, inside 5 minutes to play. McCoy dance to the outside, and he does. LaShawn McCoy across the 40 and tackled at the 39-yard line. And there's an injured member of the Jaguars along the Philadelphia sideline.
You see there, that's why it's hard not to give the guy the ball 366 times during the season.
Fun watching him go.
Yeah.
It was Josh Evans that was slow to get up, but now he appears to be okay as he trots off the field for Jacksonville.
Well, that's a key point, though, Andrew, because Josh Evans came in to replace Jonathan Cyprien, and we haven't seen Cyprien back in and probably don't expect him with a head injury that we assume he had. So now you got your other backup safety, Chris Prosinski, in there, number 42, seeing his first action of the day. So that's significant from a secondary standpoint for Jacksonville.
Prosinski, mostly a special teams player. He's in there now, number 42. Sproles. Not going anywhere, and who makes the tackle? Chris Prosinski. How about it?
Well, Prosinski can tackle Darren Sproles because he usually covers punts and Sproles the returner, so those two have seen each other. Prosinski knows what he's dealing with Darren Sproles.
You got to love that, though. If you're a coach, you love seeing a guy come in off the bench cold. Doesn't get many reps during the week, but steps up and makes a play right away. Seeing a guy come in off the bench cold. Doesn't get many reps during the week, but steps up and makes a play right away.
4th round pick out of Wyoming 3 years ago. Now on 3rd down, they throw it back to Sproles, and he is tackled short for a loss. Winston Guy on the stop, and a great job again by the Jacksonville defense as Donnie Jones, the Eagles punter, comes back out.
The Eagles are a great screen team. Watch what happens here. I think Darren Sproles, being new to this, his timing was a little bit off. He got out there. See the 2 linemen? He's supposed to be behind those 2 guys. He got out in front of them, and that allowed the defenders for Jacksonville to cut in there and make the tackle.
Mike Brown back deep. Fair catch, ball forward out to the 14-yard line. With 3:18 to go in the third quarter. Tonight on 60 Minutes, they aren't even out of middle school, and they are being recruited to be Division I college quarterbacks. Meet the man developing the next Mannings. That's only on 60 Minutes tonight. Well, Chad Henne, when he was in middle school, he grew up about an hour away from here in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. He was a big Phillies fan, but not much of an Eagles fan. Joe Montana was his favorite player, so he was a 49ers fan. Had never come to an Eagles game until today, starting at quarterback against the Eagles on 1st down. They give it to Gerhardt. Trying to get around the outside, and he's chopped down at the 17-yard line.
I mentioned earlier that Gerhardt, we didn't see him. Actually, he had a couple carries early in the second half right there. Looks pretty strong running the football, so encouraging for Jacksonville to see him back there toting the rock like they want him to.
And he'll be as sore as he wants to be tomorrow as well. He's looking forward to that, as we said in the first half. It's been a long time since he's carried the rock a lot. can tell he's going to be feeling it tomorrow.
Henne to Marquise Lee. Cuts back, and Marquise Lee gets out of bounds for a first down. Nice moves by the rookie out of USC.
Yeah, that was more like the Marquise Lee that Gus Bradley and Jed Fisher expected to see. Important to see Gerhard, though. Prior to that last run by Gerhard, Jacksonville had thrown the ball 6 straight times, and I think it's important that Jacksonville continues to try and establish that running game, and they will be able to do that as long as Toby Gerhard can run the football.
So to Gerhard again, he is stuffed. Brandon Graham, first-round pick in 2010 out of Michigan. Listen to this.
After making their first down here in the second half, Jaguars get thrown for a 3-yard loss and have to gather themselves again. They've had poor field position. The Eagles have done a great job of making sure Jacksonville gets none of the benefits of turnovers they got in the first half.
Gerhard on the carry. Now Graham played at Michigan with Chad Henne, and here's the time we allow Steve Beuerlein to talk about Notre Dame-Michigan game last night.
Yes, currently my favorite topic to discuss. What happened in South Bend last night. To all my Notre Dame haters out there, deal with it.
Now you and Chad Henne had a little verbal sparring when we met with him yesterday.
Yes, we did. In fact, I think he owes me a nice little pat on the back.
Well, Jacksonville 0 for 9 on third downs today. Third down and 9 here for the Jaguars. Chad Henne has to use another timeout. Second timeout of this quarter.
Not to say anything that's inappropriate here, but when you look at this game going now in the second half, the little indecision, the struggles that Jacksonville's having offensively this second half, this is kind of more of what we were expecting to start the game. It seems like the tide has kind of turned, and both these teams are now starting to show what we were expecting early in the game. Not to say that Jacksonville's not going to get it back together, because they played very well to this point today.
Well, it's the turnovers in the first half is the great equalizer, and that's what gave Jacksonville the confidence to go out and play. And then they made the plays as well, no question. And Philadelphia couldn't get out of their own way in that first half.
Third down and 9. Henne on the run, and the pass is caught by Marquise Lee for a first down. That is a clutch play by the Jaguars.
And that's exactly the kind of play that you don't expect rookie wide receivers to make. Now, Henne does buy himself some time and gets rid of it just in the nick of time. But Marquise Lee snapping off that route, and we noticed, Gus Bradley said, that's one thing we're going to have to do. We got to get our guys in and out of breaks very quickly because of the DBs of the Eagles.
But give all credit to Chad Henne on that play. He bought time and made a dart throw right on the money.
First time today they've converted on third down. On first down they go back to the air, and that play is broken up. Nate Allen got a hand on that one with 24 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
But that previous throw by Henne was a big-time NFL big boy throw. I mean, on the move, under pressure, on the money.
They have struggled here in the third quarter, but Henne has thrown some great footballs. I think surprisingly accurate. In fact, if you flip the two halves, I mean, Nick Foles was completely inaccurate in the first half, and now, Henne shows, that's really what it's all about. If he can make those throws in there, guys are sooner or later going to make the catches he allows them to make.
Henne's pass incomplete. He was looking for Mike Brown, who was blanketed by Brandon Boykin. Boykin had 6 picks last year, second in the NFL, only behind Richard Sherman.
You can sense the pattern here. I mean, it's another 3rd and 10. Their first and second down plays have been absolutely uneventful. I mean, they've done nothing on first and second down in this drive, although they've converted 2 very difficult 3rd and 10s. But sooner or later it's going to catch up.
Yeah, you can't survive 3rd and long every single time, especially on the road against an aggressive ball-hawking type of defense. You know, Philadelphia, 31 turnovers last year, number 2 in the league.
2 on the play clock. And he just gets it off. And his pass is knocked down. Jacksonville looked a little unorganized on that drive, and they have to punt.
Yeah, the Eagles confused Henne, or at least the offensive line. They had no safety. They played 4 across, and they brought everybody, or it looked like they were going to bring everybody. Beuerlein actually was unblocked coming in off the corner because of the number of guys they had at the line of scrimmage. The Eagles were rolling the dice on 3rd and 10, and it paid off.
They brought too many. Also a problem that was almost a play clock violation. They took 2 timeouts earlier in this half because of the play clock. They really have to get their plays in and out quicker.
Sproles back deep from his own 10. And he's tackled at the 11. And there are 6 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS rolls out a doubleheader. First, Tom Brady and the Patriots square off with Adrian Peterson and the Vikings. And then Alex Smith and the Chiefs challenge Peyton Manning and the Broncos. It all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines, and our group will be in Oakland next week as the Raiders take on the Texans. Nick Foles back out. Eagles have scored 14 unanswered points here in the 3rd quarter. Foles to McCoy at the 15. Wrapped up by Beuerlein, and that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Well, Philadelphia found a spark in that 3rd quarter. They're down by 3. We're back to Philly after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Each week, CBS brings you the best game from the best conference. The season kicks off Saturday with Georgia and South Carolina. The SEC on CBS. College football at its best.
Start of the 4th quarter in Philadelphia. Jacksonville jumped out to a 17-0 lead, but whatever Chip Kelly said at the half is working so far as the Eagles have crawled back to within 3.
Well, that's a mark of a good head coach, a guy who knows how to make the adjustments, knows how to keep his team engaged and believing they can come back and get it done. It looks like it worked for Chip Kelly.
First down, McCoy was tackled by Beuerlein. Again, Eagles still with a couple of backups in on the offensive line. Evan Mathis went out earlier with an injury, and so did Alan Barbary.
Well, I think this is a very important drive for the Eagles. I think, start the 4th quarter, try to get the ball out of their own end zone for sure. They need to get at least a first down here to try and establish field position, number 1.
3rd down and 6. Foles to Matthews. And he is good for a first down. Got the spot he was looking for, and the Eagles moved the chains. Will Blackman pushed him out.
Yeah, that's a big 3rd down conversion. A nice catch by Jordan Matthews. A little bit late on the outside by Nick Foles, but he went to the right guy. They got the nice 3rd down conversion and keep the ball in their hands.
Gus Bradley coached Matthews at the Senior Bowl. He thought about drafting him instead. The Jags went with Marquise Lee. Now Sproles did not pick that one up. It's incomplete.
Great job by the Jacksonville front 4. They saw that right from the beginning. Roy Miller did a nice job of moving out to the outside. Some Derek Marks also all right in the middle of that, along with Chris Clemens. All 3 of those big guys right in the middle of that screen pass. They've seen that a couple of times already today, and those veterans snapped it off right before Foles could even get it to Sproles. And that was well played by the front 4.
And there is Sproles on the carry, and he's got another Philadelphia first down.
Look at that right there. You see the graphic. We talk about tempo, and you get ready to snap it again. Less than 21 seconds between plays. That does take a toll on the defense.
Yeah, and the chains, guys, weren't even set as they snapped that ball. And that's something the officials have to keep an eye on. But this is fast break football for the Eagles. You see what they did last year.
Yeah, this is, and you see over here, this is the team that I was involved with way back in the day. And Yeah, they ran it fast, and one of the reasons the Philadelphia Eagles aren't as fast is they're more versatile. As you see McCoy get the first down again, they run more personnel combinations and more motion and more formations than anybody who runs a fast-paced offense, and that's one extra level of difficulty they give to a defense. I mean, back in the day, there were teams running no huddle, but they were using the same personnel, same formations, just flipped side to side, and it was easier to run fast. They're doing it with different people and different formations. Really, really impressive.
Foles converts. He's wide open into Jacksonville territory and finally brought down at the 30-yard line. Prosinski made the stop, but this fast tempo offense is in a rhythm right now.
You're going to see Ertz right here up the seam and quick play action by Nick Foles. And the ball is completed up the field. We didn't get a chance to see it. They're too quick for us.
Foles throws it, and it's incomplete. A flag came in, and Foles took a shot.
I can't believe they didn't throw a flag on that one.
Holding number 66 in the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Foles doesn't get the same protection out of the pocket that he does in, and Red Bryant's going to come out and put a hit on him. That hurts.
That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, you remember that one. Red Bryant is not
small.
Yeah,
not a small guy.
323 pounds.
It's not the guy you pick to have him run full speed into you. That's for sure.
First and 20. Foles across the 35 as the Eagles move closer to field goal range, and keep in mind they have a rookie kicker in Cody Parkey. Made the team after two big kicks against the Jets in the preseason finale, 53 and 54 yards. He won the job, but this is his first NFL game.
I'll tell you what's been the key here this second half has been the commitment to the running game, though. We've seen the runs pop, and we've also seen the play action pop for Philadelphia.
Rolls off the fingertips of Sproles and nearly intercepted.
This is one of the reasons Sproles is effective. Not only is his speed, but because of his height or lack thereof, he's hard to pick out of traffic when he runs the football. And Chip Kelly told us when he handed the ball in the backfield, he's hard for the defenders to see. And conversely, when Foles is trying to find him in the pass route, it's hard for him to see through all the traffic and find him.
It's an asset when you're running the ball, but it's hard to find him when you're looking for him to pass it to him.
A generous 5'6", and he doesn't get much that time.
We were talking to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly said he's not small, he's short. And we said he fills the doorway up from the doorknob down. That's the kind of compactness he has.
Well, here comes Cody Parkey, the aforementioned rookie out of Auburn, traded from the Colts to the Eagles on August 21st. And this will be his first field goal attempt. Nothing like breaking him in easy. A 51-yarder to try and tie it. And Parkey is good. Welcome to the NFL, Cody Parkey. The Eagles have scored 17 unanswered, and we're all tied up in the city of brotherly love.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Just 32 second half yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They haven't scored in 33 minutes. And now the game is all tied at 17. Todman waiting to kick in his own end zone. This will go through the end zone by Parkey, who's got the big leg. And a big drive coming up when we come back for Chad Henne and the Jaguars.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import.
10:55 to go in the fourth, all tied at 17. First and 10 for Jacksonville at the 20-yard line. Chad Henne back to pass, looking deep, throwing into double coverage, and he overthrows Marquise Lee. Chad Henne is now 4 for 14 this half for just 26 yards.
And I think the pressure's squarely on Henne. He's got to do something to make this team get some first downs. They've punted 4 straight times. There's a flag on the field down in the secondary, and it's an automatic first down as they had double coverage on the top, and they call him for the hold.
Not only have they punted 4 times, Steve Tasker, they also have had several 3-and-outs, 3 3-and-outs out of the 4 drives. That defense is worn out on the sideline right now. They need this offense to keep the football.
And you're seeing that on the flip side when Philadelphia's on the field offensively. You can see that.
Henne on the keeper, and he gets across the 30. Chad Henne not known for running too much, but he does a good job on that play. Michael Kendricks makes the stop.
That's just exactly what Jedd Fisch wants to do. He wants once or twice a game for the defense to forget about Chad Henne when they need to pick up 5 or 6 yards like they did right there. Great call, good timing for it. Chad Henne did his job.
2nd and 3. Gerhardt doesn't get there.
And that is the must. That's it. The must we were talking about. That 1st and 2nd down, they've got to get yards. The carry by Henne. And then, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, what run fits. You can see there Cole coming across from the backside and Beuerlein piling on. No place to run there. But at least they've got a 3rd and 2 instead of another 3rd and 10.
Big difference. Big difference. You dictate to the defense now in this situation.
Big play. 3rd down and 1. 9:42 and counting here in the 4th. And he will throw. And he's got a first down to his tight end, Mercedes Lewis. Going to give him the forward progress, and Jacksonville's able to convert for just the 2nd time today on 3rd down.
Barely got the first down. Just enough. Mercedes Lewis. Gus Bradley told us in our meeting yesterday he's in the best shape of his life in his 9th year in the NFL out of UCLA.
Gerhardt finally able to find a little bit of room up the middle, and he picks up 9 on the play.
And surprisingly well now with a 17 all game, Jacksonville goes no huddle, and they pick up the pace offensively.
Well, you know you got a tie ball game now, and you're not trying to protect the lead anymore, which is what maybe this is what they were missing. They got too conservative. They were letting that clock run down. Let's get back into what we do best, like they told us yesterday.
Gerhardt has the first down into Philadelphia territory. In his first 4 years, Toby Gerhardt had 9 career games of 10 or more carries. That was just his 17th carry of the ball game. He's got 40 yards.
And now this offensive line for Jacksonville that was so suspect coming into this game seems to be taking over to a certain degree.
First down and 10 with 8:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Remember, Jacksonville used 2 timeouts in the 3rd. They only have 1 remaining. Gerhardt is pushed back by Vinnie Curry, 3rd-year player out of Marshall.
It looked like Chad Henne changed that play at the line of scrimmage, and after that play, Toby Gerhardt was asking him to change it back. He got crushed. Right, I mean, there was no help right there. 5 guys there to meet him right in the hole.
Well, I like what Jedd Fisch is doing here, though, changing the tempo, trying to put some pressure back on the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and to this point, it's worked pretty well in this drive.
Gerhardt out, Todman comes in. You've seen him more than Denard Robinson. And he throws incomplete. Mercedes Lewis wanted to call. He's not going to get one. Connor Barwood on the coverage.
One of the things I like about what Jacksonville did, they came out, got the first down, and then went up tempo to make sure they didn't go a quick 3 and out.
I think one of the factors on that last play, too, if you look at the way the shadows are pointing right now, I think Mercedes Lewis is looking right back into the sun over the top of Lincoln Financial Stadium here. That might have been a factor in finding that football.
3rd down and 9. Jacksonville just 2 for 12 on 3rd downs today. And he over the middle to Hearns. He had it and lost it. And one official says incomplete. They are saying an incomplete pass. Incomplete. Burns had it, but never had full control, and it's an incomplete pass.
Wow, that play was a train wreck. And I don't know, they may review this.
I mean,
it's a clear recovery.
It looked like he had clear possession of the ball as well. Look at right here.
Wolf picks it up, and it's a clear recovery. He comes up, and that ball comes out after both feet are on the ground, and it's ripped free by Williams there.
That is interesting. They're going to challenge it.
Chip Kelly's throwing the red flag.
Yeah.
And I think I would too.
At this point, I think I would, definitely. I mean, to me, he had clear possession of the ball. Now the question is, was it long enough?
Right.
That he
he's got to have possession and 2 feet on the ground.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
So they'll take a look, and we're back to Philadelphia in a moment.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Philadelphia has charged their first timeout and their first challenge.
So a break for the Jaguars. We welcome in Mike Carey back in New York, our officiating expert. Do you agree with the call, Mike?
Yes, I do. There was not indisputable evidence that he had clear control as he was turning upfield. So good call on the field and a good call in replay.
All right, thank you, Mike. Anger punts it away. Sproles, fair catch. Now there's a flag down. The ball is down at the 15-yard line, but 2 flags back close to the line of scrimmage.
A lot of pointing going on out there.
Luka's running into the kicker. They're giving Philadelphia the choice.
Personal foul. Chop block. Kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down, Philadelphia.
All right, so let's go back to that fumble that wasn't a fumble. We take another look at it, guys.
Well, I think that I understand what Mike Carey was saying. It's not indisputable. That's the key that we sometimes forget. Is there clear visual evidence to overturn the play? The play was ruled an incomplete pass. It was not ruled a fumble. I think either way they had called this way was going to be the correct call according to the system the way it is.
Yeah, you're right on point. Either way that happens, they've got to stay with it because there's nothing that shows definitively if he had clear control.
Yeah, as a football
so the
player,
best view was on the field.
Sorry, Mike. As a football player, you look at it and say, "Oh, he caught that ball. Come on!" But
the litmus test is always if you call it with your brothers in the backyard as a catch, it stays a catch here too.
Correct, but we need a little bit more to overturn that.
Macklin is wide open. Touchdown, Philadelphia! A 68-yard score.
That's Chip Kelly's offense. Even though it's the first play of the drive, they come out and they catch Jacksonville in a blown coverage. And because of all the different personnel and all the formations, somebody drops Macklin and forgets all about him. And all Foles has to do is throw it out.
Yeah, we talked about the effect of that run game with LaShawn McCoy, Darren Sproles. The play action is set up off of that. That's why Chip Kelly is so committed to establishing that run game. Boy, there was nobody back in the middle of the field. Easy, easy touchdown pass by Macklin.
It was 17-0 Jacksonville. Since then, it's all Eagles. Jeremy Macklin gives Philly its first lead of the day.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Subway. Stay in summer shape with a Super Stack Protein Pack Subway Club. Subway, eat fresh.
Back in Philadelphia as we go back to that last touchdown, Macklin was wide open.
Here's Macklin right here. You're going to see he goes down the middle. Watch Chris Prosinski, the safety. Remember, he is the second backup safety because you've lost Jonathan Cyprian and Josh Evans. The play action gets him to step up. There is nobody. That is Prosinski's responsibility to be deep in the middle of the field. There's nobody there.
Todman will take a knee. The premiere of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network kicks off this Thursday. Pittsburgh meets Baltimore in an AFC North divisional showdown. Don't forget, football starts here Thursday night. The Steelers and the Ravens. Nick Foles has now thrown for 322 yards, the fifth 300-yard passing game of his career. What a turnaround it's been for Philly, especially 24 points in the last 19 minutes. Inside 7 minutes to go. Can the Jags find an answer? And Henne just kind of throws this one away. Marquise Lee was over there, but this Jacksonville offense has not found any sort of rhythm in the second half.
Yeah, Henne has had some time to pass, plus he's bought himself some time, and the defensive backs for Philadelphia are really covering up the receivers, doing a nice job. Plus, I think, too, as you see there, the second half, second and third quarters have just dropped off. I think Jacksonville has stopped trying to take the deep shot as often as they should.
Yeah, it's about staying aggressive, and no doubt there's going to be momentum swings, but at some point you've got to answer the bell, step up and make a few plays.
Henne's pass is incomplete. Tried to fit it into a tight window for Allen Hurns, and it'll bring up third down.
We've got another 3rd and 10 here, 3rd and long, but Allen Hurns, who we heard so much from early in the first half, looks to me like there's a lot of white shirts around him now.
Yeah, and I think that ball was actually tipped by D'Amico Ryans as he gets a little piece of it coming out, and that's why the ball wasn't caught. I think Hurns thought he had a reception.
And this is where experience really, another timeout. Another
Play clock was at 2. Henne had to use his third and final timeout with 6:48 to go in the fourth quarter, and he gave an assist to the Philly fans as they have made it tough here in the second half for the Jags to communicate on offense.
Well, third down has been impossible for Jacksonville, it seems. You see they're 3 for 9, and all two of those came in that last drive. They've got to do a better job getting the play in. It's not that difficult to stand in the huddle and hear the quarterback, but they weren't even able to do that. They've got to get the play communicated to Chad Henne in a faster manner.
You know what also could be a problem, though, Steve? You know the difference when you have a veteran huddle and a young huddle. 3 young wide receivers out there, young offensive linemen. There could be a guy saying, hey, wait, what do I do? What's the play? You know, as they're trying to get organized coming out of the huddle, there's a lot of things that could be happening in that huddle that we don't have any idea about right now related to their youth.
3rd down and 10. Henne feeling the pressure, takes a big hit, but completes it to Mike Brown, and we'll have to see where they mark his forward progress. That is very close as Chad Henne took a big pop. And that is going to be just short of a first down.
That was a huge hit that Chad Henne took right in the chops, and he popped right back up. Look at that, man. That was head-to-head. That's going to be a fine probably for
Cox. Going to get a fine for that, and probably should have been a penalty as well.
Guys, they're going for it here with 6 minutes to go from their own 29-yard line. 4th and inches. Throwing on 4th down, incomplete. Lewis was open. Henne couldn't find the touch. And the Jags come up empty on 4th down.
You know, I love the call, and I think if Chad Henne is a little bit more patient, he doesn't have to float that ball quite as much as he did. Mercedes Lewis looking back into the sun, He's got to make that tough catch. It's a first down, no doubt about it. I know, Steve Tasker, you're frustrated. He should catch that ball. I think it's a better throw if Henne waits a split second longer and sticks it on him with some zip, though.
I love the call. I love the fact that they went for it. There's no question. Everything's on the line right here. With 5-6 minutes to go in the game, you got to make something happen offensively, and you had everything there. Yet they had the guy. They held the right call. Just got to make a play.
McCoy on first down. You know what, guys? That is a gutsy call. I know you don't have any timeouts left, but you got 6 minutes to go in the game. You got a very good punter to put him back deep. And that's a call in Jacksonville they're going to talk about for a while.
But you know what, though, Andrew? I believe in this situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Gus Bradley knows that that's a big call, and probably the percentages are against taking that risk at that point with that much time on the clock. But I think for this young football team, for the head coach to show confidence in them, thinking that they got the right play call. He probably asked Jed Fish, "You got a good call for me?" Jed Fish said, "Yeah, let's go for it." He went for it. I respect the heck out of him for taking that chance. Percentage-wise, not the right call, no doubt about it.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles, and McCoy is bottled up quickly. Gino Hayes leading the charge, and it will be 3rd and long for the Eagles, but again, Jacksonville cannot stop the clock. They have no timeouts remaining.
Yeah, the crusher is that they're already down 7. It's not like they're going to be able to stay in 2-score territory. Now, if Philadelphia can get a field goal out of this,
it's over.
Now it's a 2-score game, 2-possession game, and you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to win the game unless there's a huge mistake by Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that went into that decision, and Gus Bradley weighed them all out. I think you got to give him.
You're right. The percentages weren't there, but the emotion of the game and for what it meant to his team, I think was the right call.
3rd and long, plenty of room to run for McCoy, and he's got the first down. That's a killer for the Jacksonville defense.
For as much as is said about this up-tempo offense, Chip Kelly, you got to tip your hat to a guy that will hand it off on a 3rd and long in that spot. And having a guy like LaShawn McCoy gives you that luxury to think you can actually pick it up.
You know what else gives you the luxury when you get the ball in field goal range already? So you know you're already in field goal range. You don't want to take a chance for a sack. You don't want something bad to happen. You run it up in there. You say, maybe we get a first down, but for sure we're going to get a field goal out of this.
So a fresh set of downs for Philadelphia with 3:38 to go in the 4th. They're going to keep it on the ground here with McCoy, and he gets a couple. Jacksonville cannot stop the clock.
I mean, you're a quarterback, Stevie Beuerlein. Tell me about how Nick Foles has bounced back. I mean, he could not have had a worse first half than he did, and yet when you look at it, he's over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
I think that he's going to look back at this game and say that was a key game in his overall development as a quarterback, because these fans tomorrow are going to be on him a little bit. They're going to be saying, what the heck was wrong with him in the first half? What can we expect? Well, I think he showed what he's made of coming out in the second half and playing tough. He's been bumped up a little bit today, but he's made some good throws in the second half and brought his team back.
The Eagles just trying to kill that clock inside 3 minutes to go. Sproles on the carry.
And the thing we talked about with Jacksonville's offensive line being young, inexperienced, and shuffled around, the Eagles are no better off now. Barbary was starting the game at right tackle. He had never had a start in his career, and now they've got Gardner in there. And Evan Mathis also came out as a starter. So they've got 2 backups in there on their offensive line, and Nick Foles came in and rallied the troops to get back in this game and score 24 unanswered points.
Give Chip Kelly and Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia, credit for identifying how to attack this Jacksonville defense in the second half as well.
Sproles on 3rd and 5. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning, and when we come back, Philadelphia will be faced with 4th down and a likely field goal attempt. We're back right after this. Cody Parkey is so new to the Eagles, he doesn't even have an apartment left here in Philly. He just made the team last week, staying at a hotel for now, and he could pretty much put this one on ice if he could knock through this 27-yarder. And Parkey does just that. 27 unanswered points for the Philadelphia Eagles. With Steve Beuerlein and Steve Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalon. We thank you for joining us here from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. It was an incredible start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They jumped out to a 17-0 lead, stunning this crowd here in Philadelphia, but the Eagles found their groove in the second half, and it was Darren Sproles who lighted the spark.
Darren Sproles started it off, then Zach Ertz came up with a big touchdown catch down the middle to get the second touchdown of the half, and then it was the hard play action down the field to Jeremy Maclin. You wonder how the Eagles are going to replace Deshaun Jackson. A lot of people were asking, but bottom line is you got three guys making plays for them, stepping up and doing it.
Yeah, Darren Sproles, Zach Ertz, and Maclin, and then that fourth down incompletion to Mercedes Lewis was the final nail in the coffin that left the Eagles in field goal range with just under 4 minutes to go. They got them to the 2 minute, and they just kicked the field goal to go up by 10.
Yeah, the gutsy call by Gus Bradley, but he comes up empty, going for it 4th and 1 from his own 29. Not going to seal the fate for Jacksonville unless they can find a way to pull off a miraculous comeback with 1:57 to go.
And you're right, Andrew. It was a gutsy call, and I think it is going to be debated in Jacksonville, and rightfully so. Those kind of calls should be debated, and I think Gus Bradley will have a way to defend himself. We talked about it here already. We both, Steve Tasker and myself, believe that it was the right call for this team in this situation. That doesn't mean we're 100% right, that's for sure.
No timeouts remaining for Jacksonville. They had to burn 2 in the third quarter, so they can't stop the clock. This time, Henne is complete to Lewis for a Jacksonville first down, and they'll have to go no huddle here. .140 and counting. Jacksonville can't stop the clock. They trail by 10. They had a 17-0 lead, but Philadelphia has scored 27 unanswered. Here in the second half, the ball is out. Loose ball. It's picked up by Fletcher Cox. The big guy rumbles in.
You look at Gus Bradley right there, and you wonder how he's going to handle this situation with his team. I think we know what his attitude's going to be, but what a disheartening end to this ball game when you look at how much control the Jaguars team was in the first half. It was a domination in the first half. And then to have the second half flip like this young football team, what a great play. Again, bringing pressure off the edge, backside, and Fletcher Cox in the right place, but very disheartening for the Jacksonville Jaguars football team.
Trent Cole knocked it free. Fletcher Cox rumbled 17 yards. It's the 80th career sack for Trent Cole, and the Eagles have scored 34 unanswered points.
You'll see here, this is a sign of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zane Beadles just gets run right past the left guard of the Jaguars and ends up chasing Cox into the end zone. As a result, this offensive line of Jacksonville was really shuffled, and it's really young. Zane Beadles is the only veteran who actually has starting experience, and he's the one that gives up that final sack for the touchdown. The way this game has gone, Steve, you and I talked about it a lot. This Eagles pace and their tempo that they run with slowly but surely begins to pay dividends late in ball games. You and I are talking Michigan State yesterday against Oregon, and the legacy that Chip Kelly left behind at Oregon. They were on the ropes at Oregon, and then late in the game they scored 3 or 4 touchdowns, 28 unanswered points, much like this Eagles team did today against Jacksonville. They looked horrible to begin with, but the pace and the tempo and their conditioning and their play selection and their playmakers, all that rolled into one, turns into 34 unanswered.
Once the floodgates open, you start getting that momentum, and Chip Kelly, you look at him right there, he's feeling very relieved at how this game has turned, but it is a beautiful thing to watch when they get this thing clicking, because it is so hard to stop.
Yeah, amazing to think back to the first half when the fans here in Philly booed the Eagles off the field into the locker room, and what a difference since then. Now, if Jacksonville does not score the rest of the game, they'll have gone scoreless for the final 44 minutes and 14 seconds.
This game started off with early turnovers by Philadelphia, and Jacksonville capitalized and was in complete control. They were bringing pressure. Nick Foles looked completely disoriented out there. Jacksonville had all of the momentum going into the halftime break, and the Eagles regrouped and came out and took control. A young football team in Jacksonville just didn't have the ability to step up to the challenge and keep the pressure on Philadelphia.
Flag is down on the play. Don't forget, coming up here on CBS, the U.S. Open Women's Championship between Serena Williams and Caroline Wozniacki.
Ineligible downfield offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Well, the quote that sticks out when we met with Gus Bradley yesterday in our meetings was, we're on a race to maturity. And that's the sense of what this is for the Jags this year and for years to come, such a young team. And I think they're going to learn a lot about themselves after this one. A 17-point lead, everything going in their favor, and it falls apart in the second half. How do they build on that? How do they learn from this second half letdown going forward the rest of the season? It'll be a big question for the Jaguars as we move forward.
Well, I think one thing they did learn is that they can compete with teams like the Eagles, who are expected to win their division. I mean, you can say what you want about the quality of the NFC East, but the Jaguars came in, and in the early going here today, were every bit the match for that club. Even with the Jaguars coming in with a shuffled and young offensive line, inexperienced, they still,
wide receivers
and 3 rookie wide receivers, and the other wide receiver, Mike Brown, only had 32 career catches. So they can compete, but can they do it once they get hit in the mouth?
Earhart makes the catch. It gets up to the 25. And for Philadelphia, guys, they escape with this one. They'll go to 1-0, but major concern on the offensive line as both Evan Mathis and Alan Barbary had to leave because of injuries. They did not return. Philadelphia already thin up front. Lane Johnson suspended the first 4 games of the season, so that'll be something that Chip Kelly will have to figure out after this one is over, as next week Philadelphia plays a Monday nighter in Indianapolis against the Colts.
This is a Philadelphia offensive line that did not have any change-ups the whole year last year. They had the same starting 5 all year. This is a team that had the second fewest injuries in the National Football League last year, and today, week 1, to get hurt or hit with 2 offensive linemen getting hurt, it's going to be a big adjustment for them. And Chip Kelly knows that. It's going to be causing him some sleepless nights this week. How are you going to address that problem? Because you know over the course of the season that takes a toll.
Henne on 2nd and 6, and the pass is caught by Marquise Lee, the rookie out of USC, and he has a Jacksonville first down. But again, Jacksonville cannot stop the clock. There's 30 seconds remaining. Next week, the Jaguars go to Washington, who earlier today lost in Houston. Alan Hearns was the big story in preseason for Jacksonville, the big story in this first half. He had 2 touchdowns on his first 2 NFL catches, and he flicks that one to Marquise Lee. And Lee has a first down, but Alan Hearns did not have a catch in the second half, guys.
Right. Relief from the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Foles knows it.
That's the final. Eagles win at 34-17. Coming up next, U.S. Open Women's Final between Serena Williams and Caroline Wozniacki. For Steve Tasker, Steve Beuerlein, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Philadelphia. You've been